understand. This trial's a circus, but I've got a plan. Not a grifter, still worse than Dan. Hopscotch squares, don't trip, don't fall. BK in a felony, I've heard it all. Shake it, magic 8-ball. Tell me the truth, will justice call? Me be the diva, she's running the show. Chief Capone and Meg, yeah, everybody knows. Fat or fat, well, nobody knows. What the corn echoes as the chaos grows. My credibility left in a vehicle. Hopscotch squares, don't trip, don't fall. BK in a felony, I've heard it all. Shake it, magic 8-ball. Tell me the truth, will justice call? What the corn echoes as the chaos grows. My credibility left in a vehicle.
Hey.
I said that to Madison all weekend because she was smiling. Every time she'd smile, I'd be like, "Gee."
Yeah. Hey.
What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Feels like Friday. It's been a long ass day.
I know, right? It does feel
my-
like a long weekday. Like the whole week was in one day.
Yeah, and it's not over yet.
Yep.
Like, oh my gosh. This will be the last stream that we see Judge Cheese because this is our last day of this trial.
Woo.
So we're gonna finish this up today. I'm excited and ready to be done with it. Judge Cheese is going away. My son's like, "You better be careful with that." I'm like, "She's on there for like 2 seconds and it's a public picture, so whatever." Like, it's fine. Pretty sure she's not watching me. So
I mean, I'm not sure she's not watching me. I mean, that picture.
I mean, she's watching all of us. She's like one of those pictures that no matter where you move, it's the eyes are going and they're following you. Like,
Yeah, it's like the
stop-
haunted house.
yeah, like stop staring at me. So, alrighty. Well then, I had it right before I came downstairs. My husband and I were finishing up dinner, and somebody drove up our driveway, which our driveway's long. I've told you guys all that. And so I'm like, who the heck is here? And he made some stupid joke that he shouldn't have made. And I was like, shut up. And it was our neighbor. And every year she brings us like Christmas goodies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was outside talking to her. And she just like nonchalantly is like, "Oh yeah, Larry died. That's her boyfriend's like they weren't married, but they'd been together for like 20 some years. Like he just died. Like he just died. Like just oh. I'm like, what in the world? And it's like, oh, by the way, and those brownies in there, they're still warm, so you should go inside and have one. I mean, that
This
like
poor woman.
I'm like no tears. Just like it was like saying that the grass is green this summer. Like, I mean, it was just so nonchalant. And she said he had cancer. He said we had decided he wouldn't get chemo, but he did. 6 weeks ago, he's at work now. He's dead. I'm like,
well, she's like, yeah, here's some brownies. Bye. As she skips away.
Go enjoy the freaking brownies. I'm like,
maybe they were special brownies. Maybe that's why she was like, la-di-da-di-da.
I mean, they might have been, but I'm like, what the hell is happening?
That's hilarious.
And so Todd's like, I don't want to let her down. So he did come in and have a brownie. I was like,
typical guy thing. He's like, all right, sounds pretty good, actually. Thanks.
I don't want to let her down. And so I don't have any idea. But it's been the weirdest day. It's just been,
Yep, I heard that.
I don't know. But anyways, what's up, Heidel? I hope you're having a great day. I saw your picture in Discord. It's gorgeous. Looks like you're driving into a fire, which I hope you weren't. I hope that was just the sunset because it was really pretty.
Well, that was like the other one that I took too.
I guess I
It's
didn't
up
see yours.
further. It's up
Okay.
further. But that day, that sunset was just absolutely crazy. I don't know if you saw it or what, but
I
it
don't know.
was insane.
That's one good thing about winter. I will give winter this. The sunsets are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Better than summers. For sure. Unless you're at the beach. And they're always good. But yeah, like that was I'm like,
I just sent it to you in a text message.
okay, I'll look at it. Flash fan, enjoy your Christmas dinner. You better do a great job on that chocolate chip cookie cake and lasagna.
Nice.
And happy holidays to you, Flash fan. Merry Christmas to you, Ronnie. What's up, Bad Dazzer? Hope you're doing well. Merry Christmas, Mrs. McPickle Pounder. What's up, Jenny? What's up, Puddletown? Member for 14 months. Thank you so much. I know it's been longer. You don't have to tell me. I know. The one behind us that does the great fireworks every year. We get this like amazing fireworks show. They shoot off fireworks for like an hour and a half. Probably not anymore, but
Well, yeah, probably.
I don't know that Ronnie.
I bet you. She probably was. She's
I
probably
wonder
just like,
if he was still in shock, unless she just finished him off.
there she is. There's hi, Ronnie.
Oh my. Ronnie, that just made my day. She did not. I mean, I don't know. They're very nice people. He got a drone one year for Christmas and he came over. He's like, my drone just like landed in your back, like way back field, I guess. And because he said it landed in the backyard, and I was like, with the dogs? And he said, no. And I was like, okay, because I was going to tell you, you don't have a drone anymore. He goes, I just didn't want to walk back there. And you'd be like, who's back there?
Ronnie. Well, you never know.
Well, I mean, that's a true story. You know, I have no idea. What's up, whoever? And thank you. It is sad. I feel bad for her. I will check on her. She does have family around here, but it was just a weird, it was weird.
Yeah. She's like, okay.
What's up, Lesko? Thank you for being a member for 9 months. I know it's been longer.
Also, why are we looking at crotches?
And medals. Somebody did very well in something. Your backfield is exit only and never mode. Nice to know. Okay. Gross. I wouldn't even begin to know what to do. I will just check on her. Like I told Todd, I said, I hope that day that the FedEx person left my package on the side of the road when I texted her and said, hey, can you grab that for me? Wasn't the day. Like,
oh my god. Can you imagine?
I mean, after today, yes. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Right?
Like,
Right?
I mean, she's like, I can't, but I'll be home like around 3.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I should be home by then. So,
oh my god.
I
That's
mean,
great.
I don't know. There's just good people. And
Yeah.
she would laugh at that. Larry would laugh at that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It crossed my mind.
That just reminded me of like an episode of Letterkenny.
I have not seen that, but I've seen like
It's
parts of it.
It's funny. It would be something like that. Like their neighbor came to their house and was just like, my husband died. Here's some brownies, and then leaves.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, huh. I don't know.
No way, Heidel. Yours is cool as well.
That's pretty cool. I'll look at Gabby's.
Yeah, yours is wicked cool.
I don't know. Your guys' are pretty dang close. They both look like the sky's on fire.
Yeah. And actually, Bad Dazzer said he took the picture and flipped it upside down, and he said it looks like bloody snow. And
Ooh.
it does.
I
I
will
was like,
do
that
that.
would make an awesome, like, heavy metal album cover.
Yes.
Upside down, like it looks like bloody snow or something.
Yeah, those both are very good pictures, and they
Yeah.
both look like fire.
It
Yeah,
was
I
so
don't.
crazy how brilliant it was. Like,
That's the thing about winter. Like I have a picture I took a long time ago over. It's where Brandon and Bree live now, but there's a pond there, and there was a beautiful sunset over that
yeah.
picture, and my mom was like, or over that picture, over the pond, and my
Mhm.
mom was always like, "You need like I get that framed for me." Like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that, but it is a really pretty picture. And I said, winter does give some amazing sunsets. It needs to give us something other than colds and flu and snow.
I know, right? Jeez.
So, we deserve it. Winter.
You
Goodness.
bastard.
Exactly. Oh, well, see, you know what? Here, I'm just going to tell you. So, Bree just texted me and sent me probably his obituary. And I don't know. I'll have to look at it. That didn't look like him. But I don't even know what I've seen. But anyways.
Oh, you were talking about his obituary.
Yeah, I don't know that that's him.
Oh.
No, that's not him.
He just sends you some random guy's obituary.
Yeah, she did. She did. But I was gonna say, like, if you ever lose anybody and need them found, women are
You
generally
see?
better. Oh dear Lord. Women are better than the FBI generally at finding stuff, and we can find it
Yeah.
quick when we want to. But that's not, I don't know. But hello, Katie. How are you?
Hello, Katie.
Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Baker's amazing. I always have a great time when I join his streams. And I finally got Gabby here. It took some convincing, but we got her. Got her on there, and she's not she's not
I
with us
said
anymore.
I said like 20 words. I
But
think.
you said words.
That's true, I did. I said
You
roast beef sandwich. I said hot, warm pink center. I said some other things too.
You
But
did.
yeah.
You did. You did. You told somebody to get bent, I think.
Yes, I did. It was Lesko, I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe. Was he around that day?
He was, because he sent the super chat. It had my name in it.
Oh, yes.
And yeah.
So, see, and you have watched me sit there and not say anything either.
That's
I
true.
didn't even get 20 words. So,
I think
hats off
Mad
to you.
Dog got more laughs than anybody. So that was a win.
That was a win. That just goes to show you how much she likes Miss Rachel, because there was no sound, and she knows that by heart. She just loves Miss Rachel. And there's a song on there. It's called Potty Time, Potty.
Yeah.
And it's a little bear.
Oh,
And
God.
she freaking loves that bear. Every time that he appears on the screen and then they start singing, it doesn't matter what she's doing. Like she just gets, that's when she was like super excited, was because he was up there on the screen. That's like her favorite.
Right.
So, oh my gosh. Okay. So, what's up, AT1? It is good to see you. You just listen to that. Well, then she should be happy.
Isn't there a book? A kid's book, like Everybody Poops or something?
Uh-huh. And
I
Herbie,
remember that book. Yeah, I remember
you
that.
can buy him. He's sitting on a toilet.
Herbie the car?
Not Herbie. Herbie, I just saw because she said Herbie is a top contender too. Herbie is
Oh.
I think he's maybe one of the Muppets from like Sesame Street, maybe.
Oh,
She
okay.
loves Herbie. But you can buy the Potty Time Bear and he sits on a toilet.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
Bean is the bear.
Is his name is Bean?
I think so.
Or he'd be dropping some beans.
No, I think his name is Bean.
Okay. No, not herpes.
Not Herpes for You and Me by Dr. Seuss.
No, no, that's definitely not a children's book. That's a coming of age book.
Dr. Seuss wrote that way later in life.
Yeah, way later when he got syphilis or something.
It was like, oh darn. But I don't know. He's sitting on the toilet and it's a book, and I'm like, I don't know that that's going to have the same like effect of seeing him on screen when he's moving. You know, when they have the puppet doing stuff, and he's just sitting here on a toilet that you don't know about yet. You're not old enough, so
That's
like,
hilarious.
I'm not, and it's like,
And this
30
is from like, is this like a sub show through Miss Rachel,
no,
or is this like a separate thing?
it's just on her show. It's just Bean, I think, has just been there. And that's just a song they wrote for
Oh, okay.
about that. And then they there's a woman that does sign language through the whole thing too. And I mean, it's a cute song. You find yourself singing it.
Oh, I'm sure.
What's up, Toto?
Same thing with my sister. When you're watching like Backyardigans or SpongeBob or whatever,
Yeah,
you
you
start
just
singing along with things.
start singing it.
Do the potty time song.
I don't know it. I don't watch it. I'm watching her.
Send it to me and I'll learn it and then I'll sing it.
Just remember, all Brian Johnson of AC/DC is a perfect match for Elmo doing heavy metal.
It actually really is. That's a good point.
No, I don't. Stop it. No problem.
Please no.
I want to. That's fine. All right, let's get this started. So we are on the very last day of y'all. Sorry, my brain is mush right at this moment. What's up, Nidawau? We're going to watch closing argument and the verdict in the mummified mom trial. We've watched this trial for a little bit. I think some of us are on the fence about whether or not we would find her guilty, just because we can't definitely tie her to everything, and we just have, for me, and I think there's some other ones, we just have some like a moment that we can't kind of get past. But is that enough to convict her of unaliving her mom when everything else is kind of fuzzy and might not be her doing it? It could be her sister doing it because her sister was very angry at her. Her brother already pleaded to saying, yep, I did it. Unalived mom, buried her in the backyard, and buried dad under the corner of the garage. So, what's up, Robin? Yay! No traveling or hotels for me. Good for you. Glad you're here. I don't think I can on what they have presented to us. Whoever, I have doubts. If I was on the jury, I'd vote not guilty. I feel that she is not guilty, but we shall see what the jury thinks. So, we all know that the state does not like the microphone. She's allergic to it. She did not use it for her opening statements, and we couldn't hear her opening statements. I really wanted to listen to this earlier today, and I just did not have time. So my apologies. If we find that we can't hear her, we will just go to the defense closing and then hope that she does the microphone on the rebuttal. Because I don't want to sit and listen for an hour to something that we can't hear. The dad,
I concur.
the foundation of the family home.
It's made out of bones.
The dad propping up that corner. Yes, they kept him close. I mean,
Hey, Robin.
Dad was there for like 18 years before they found him, and had he not done mom in, Dad might still be there. So the family's kind of messed up. I'm not so sure that the mom didn't have something to do with the dad going
Maybe
away.
she did.
Because
Maybe that's why she ended up in the rock garden.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, she was getting his checks still after he passed away. Disappeared. And so
some brownies. Bye. No. I'll never forget that now.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah. Alrighty. I think I'm ready. I hope.
All right.
No idea. Let me hit play. See what we got. Come on, State. Don't let us down. You've been so snarky through this whole entire thing.
I hope she taps her.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, both the state and the defense have now rested their case. The attorneys will now present their final arguments. Please remember that what the attorneys say is not evidence or your instruction on the law. However, do listen closely to these arguments. They're intended to aid you in understanding the case. Each side will have an equal time, but the state's entitled to divide this time between an opening argument and a rebuttal argument after the defense has spoken. Ms. Wilkinson.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Richard and Stacey Kananen grew up together with their sister Cheryl Bracken in an extremely abusive home. And the state would concede that their childhood was unimaginable. They were physically abused, they were sexually abused, they watched their mother be abused, their mother abused them, their mother didn't protect them. And somehow out of that, they survived to grow up. And somehow out of that, they didn't learn those skills at empathy. But they knew one thing. They knew that their nephew Christopher, they didn't want anything to happen to him. And although Ricky and Stacey will tell you what was going on with Christopher was nothing what they went through, they loved him, they wanted to protect him, and they wanted things better for him. But they didn't want their mother to take him and to raise him. Because for whatever failing they thought their sister had as a mother, not only was she Christopher's mother, they knew she loved that child. They knew that her husband, Chris, was helping address this. And they knew that the one person that really shouldn't raise this child is the woman who didn't protect them. And that's their own family. As you look at this case, ladies and gentlemen, you may ask yourself, how will anyone ever kill their mother? Not many people grow up with the childhood that the Kananens did. And we are a product of how we grow up and how our parents treat us. And there's nothing that's going to change those formative years of being abused and beaten and raped and ignored, the scars of emotional abuse. And you mix that all up together, and that's going to give you somebody, and that in this case it's going to give you two people that could actually kill a parent. Ladies and gentlemen, you know that Richard did this because you heard his testimony. But what you've also heard through the evidence in this case and the testimony of Richard is he didn't do it alone. More than one person can be convicted of killing in a first-degree murder. And there's a lot of things that as we go through this will show you in support of what Richard told you. And the first thing that's most important is Richard Kananen, known as Ricky to his sisters. He was the one who tried to protect them as they grew up. Not their mother, and clearly not their father, that from all accounts was a horrendous horrific, violent man. When the house is on fire, Richard Sr. and Marilyn are outside safe. And it's Ricky, a teenager, climbing up that ladder to carry the sisters to safety. Who has told you it just seemed like parents were almost disappointed. And up until about May 1st of 2007, Ricky continued to protect Stacey. But he had two sisters. And then it goes back to that nephew, the heart and soul of Stacey, and that nephew that Rick loved so much, and that was Christopher. Because Ricky told you why he came to this courtroom, why he talked to the detectives after he entered a plea to 30 years. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be realistic. When you're as old as Richard Kananen is, 30 years is basically a life sentence. And although there were a lot of questions asked about it, we've heard that there is no parole for Richard Kananen. There's no deal. And when the detectives talked to him, Detective Hussey told him he knew there's nothing I could do for him. He'd already been sentenced. He had nothing to gain. But what you also heard is that's certainly not the first time that he talked about Stacey's involvement. And from the very beginning, he told Dr. Mings that he wanted to tell his story and he wanted to say and tell about that Stacey was involved. The defendant in this case is charged with first-degree murder. And there are two things that the state must do. First, we must prove that it is a first-degree murder beyond a reasonable doubt. And the second is we must prove that the defendant committed the crime. As you ask yourself, how do you go about determining beyond a reasonable doubt, and there are questions asked about this in jury selection, I would ask you to do two things. As you go back into the room, into the jury room, first, leave your sympathy outside the room. Sympathy for Marilyn, you can see. Sympathy for Stacey Kananen and her abusive childhood. Sympathy for Cheryl and Chris and Christopher, because that's not to take part in your decision. But as you go back to the jury room, you should take your common sense. And use your common sense as a guide in this case as you're evaluating the evidence and the testimony that you've heard. When you look at whether the state of Florida has proven first-degree murder, we first must show three elements. That Marilyn Kananen is dead. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no doubt about that. We then must show that it was by the criminal act of another. Ladies and gentlemen, Marilyn Kananen died. She was suffocated or asphyxiated to death. And you know that it was a painful death in that she was momentarily tased and then suffocated and was sheer away, would have had to be cut off at least a minute. And when you think about, ladies and gentlemen, as the clock ticks now on 5, that's about 10 seconds. That's 30. $45. That's 1 minute. And that's about the least amount of time that Marilyn Kananen's hair would have been cut off. That was Dr. Renee told you it was 1 to 3 minutes. And then we must show that it was a premeditated killing. And as you sat there for the last minute, and you think of how this woman was tased, and how her airway was cut off at least a minute, and probably longer. Clearly, ladies and gentlemen, that's time to fully develop the intent to kill someone and to have time to reflect upon it. She's thinking the concept of using a taser because, in Ricky's words, Stacey really didn't want it messy. To take a woman out to the movies and dinner and to come home and tase her. And then for Richard Kananen, who back then was probably over 350 pounds, hold a bandana down a minute or more while his partner in crime stood behind him because she used the taser. There's really no doubt that those were premeditated killing, and there's from the testimony from Ricky, they had talked about it off and on for months. But he moved in somewhere around Easter time, March or April of that year, and that as they went through the summer and heard more and more about Christopher, is then what I call the sibling network went into place. Ricky talks to Christopher, Stacey talks to Christopher, Ricky and Stacey talk to Christopher, Ricky and Stacey talk to each other, Stacey talks to Susan, Ricky and Stacey talk to Marilyn, Marilyn talks to him individually. And a lot of talking's going on except for going to Cheryl. They go to Chris. And it's the whole thing in a family of where everybody talks behind a person's back. But as they're doing this, what else is going on is Ricky and Stacey are talking about what to do about this. But as Ricky told you, he thought the last person who should praise his nephew is his mother. She really didn't do such a great job with him. And it clearly, Stacey has admitted in court today that she thought that Christopher should stay with his mother. That Chris's option was to go to the church to keep out social services, to take care of the problems at home with him. And Stacey and Ricky were so concerned or told to let out. And they go run to tell Marilyn. She knew about it. They heard from the defendant, she read the letter. Ladies and gentlemen, premeditation means the person has time to form a fully conscious intent to kill and time to reflect on it. And people make premeditated decisions every day. As you're driving down the road and you come up to a red light, a person will take their foot off the gas, ease on the brake, and stop and wait in line. As the light goes from red to green, you make a decision that you are going to drive through the intersection. The foot comes off the brake, it eases on the gas, and there's usually a momentarily delay. And it kind of goes from car to car. But it's not long. As a wife is sitting in her home and watching television and has it on a Lifetime movie, and a husband comes in the room and the magic cane is on and he knows the exact network it's on, and he picks up the remote and he puts in the 3 numbers. He's not just flipping through the channels, but he's made a fully formed decision he's going to change it. He watches sports. Clearly, in the time that it takes to suffocate someone, that and that alone makes it premeditation. But the fact that they talked about it beforehand and made plans and talked together, the fact that a taser was used because, well, it was their mother, and to stun her and make it easy. The fact that she's duct taped afterwards, her hands, her feet, duct tape over her mouth, placed in a plastic bag, carried out to a car, placed in the trunk, and driven away, and then have it in the freezer. And then when Susan goes out of town and isn't in the house that they share, buried in their backyard. And remember when Rich asked why the backyard, Stacey wanted her there in place. Ladies and gentlemen, then we have to show that the defendant committed this crime or was a principal with Richard. There's clearly no doubt that Richard Kananen, Richie got on the witness stand and said, yes, I killed my mother and I suffocated her. There's clearly no doubt that he pled guilty to second-degree murder and took a sentence of 30 years based on his age of life sentence. We have to show to be a principal in this crime that she actively participated and had a fully formed and conscious intent in the crime that she committed. In some way, she received some benefit from this. And today, you've heard a lot of explanations from Ms. Kananen about the money from her mother's account. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you that they're completely incorrect. She'd like you to believe at some point in November of 2003, she got a check from her mother who'd been missing for $2,500, and she just thought that was a sign from Mom, I'm okay. And she knew the sheriff's office had been involved, but she didn't pick up the phone to call them. And she didn't call up Cheryl and say, hey, did you get a check? So when her brother's case was pending and she hadn't been charged yet, she went to a deposition and said, well, that's not my signature. And then that check is provided to Tom Baxter. And Mr. Baxter tells you because of the quality of the copy, he's able to say it's highly probable. But then she comes into court today and says, yeah, I endorsed it. I mean, I saw the front of the check. It's my driver's license. I'm not really sure I remember. And then somewhere in her testimony, she starts to have a better memory. Yeah, I did cash it. But she didn't go to the police. She didn't go to her sister. She's got a missing mother that she wants you to believe she's so frantic over. And she just took the money. And along the same time, her brother, who'd been living in this horrific trailer that she thought nobody should live in, and he moved in and clearly didn't have any money, clearly wasn't fully working full time, starts providing her in the month of November. Oh, here's about $6,000 or $7,000. Here's $2,500. Here's some money to put in our Bank of America account, or we have a business together. By the way, I'm going to pay off Susan's car. And Susan will tell you it's about $5,000, but Stacey doesn't really remember, although remember she's the one who said she went down with her brother and paid it off. And at the same time, he's buying a truck. But she has no idea about Mom's money. The same person who tells the detectives I called my boy. Federal credit union. The same person who, her testimony on the phone call to SunTrust seems to change depending on who's asking the question and what's going on. I'm not sure what I said. I'm not sure who I said I was. Tracy Hughes flew in from Tennessee, doesn't know anyone in the family, comes in and says the person said I was Marilyn Kananen. Gave me, and this is the information I would need, the date of birth, calendar that, you know the mother's date of birth, most of us do. Social security number, most of the time people have a hard time remembering their own. Bank account number. Those are the type of things she would have needed to access that account. Because let's hope that somebody can't call up on their bank account and just say your name and start getting information. No, there's procedures that are done. But I just called SunTrust, and did we ever really hear a reason why she would call SunTrust? Clearly, she said she was Marilyn. But she wants you to think she's a distraught daughter. Why did she say Marilyn? She tried calling Boy Federal Credit Union, they weren't giving her any answers. So she called SunTrust, she's got all this information, she's on the go. And she wants you to believe that Richard's actively looting this, and she has no idea. Then why call SunTrust? Did she ever give you an answer to that? Or did she hum and haw and try to get around it? I don't know what name I said. I don't think I said Marilyn. 2 women came into court and swore that she said Marilyn. She doesn't want to tell you she said Marilyn because it doesn't look real good. Because see, there's 2 daughters in this case. There's Cheryl. Takes a leave of absence. Has Orange County Sheriff's Office do first Detective Winters and then Detective Hussey basically on speed redial. Calling up all the time. This is what's going on. This is what I've seen. Do you have any information? I've talked to my private investigator. Has anything come up? The neighbors are telling me this. This else is going on. I'm wondering about this. My brother told me this. And then there's Stacey. Well, Ricky said. Well, Ricky said this and Ricky said that, and I just trusted Ricky. Because see, I don't really confront anybody, and I don't do this. This is the same woman who's talking to her brother about her nephew, who's talking to her girlfriend about her nephew, who's talking to her mother about her nephew, who's talking to her brother-in-law, Chris, while they were cleaning the house. And on a game night, where Ricky and Stacey go over to Mom's house. But she wants you to believe she can't confront anything. Please. This is her mother. This is a person she wants to tell you that $1 million would replace. But hey, I'm just trusting Ricky. What she was doing was, hey, she didn't need to check it out. She knew where Mom was. And that's the other thing. Miss Kananen would like you to believe I didn't know Mom was in the backyard. That's my house. And somehow, she must have been buried while my roommate Susan was on a cruise. But I didn't know. 2 dogs, several cats, admits to going out in the backyard every day. Susan's gone. I don't know, but all look the same. Really? It's not like Vincent take the witness stand. The crime scene investigator who talked about 3 feet down, 4-inch rock covering, and a huge metal plate that it took more than 2 people to pick up. And that's just to pick it up and pull it back. Do you really think that Ricky Kananen can do this on his own? Do you really think that Stacey Kananen can be in that backyard every day for a week and that the body has to be buried then? I don't know. Oh, when I worked both Saturday and Sunday. But of course, when she told you, she comes home early in the afternoon. And when asked, Ricky says, hey, there's fences around there. We weren't worried about the neighbors. You're over by the shed. There's huge 6-foot fences there. And these people were out doing gardening and stuff like that, it seems, several times. So yeah, when did they grade up the neighborhood thing is? They already told you they pulled the car into the garage. And the body was taken out. By one person? Hardly. Not when you look at the steel plate, not when you look at the 4-inch rock, not when you look at how deep she was buried. More than one person to do all of that. And that person is the person who was seen in lockstep with Richard Kananen all the time. Stacey says, oh, I just stopped by the house with the boy. Mr. Bozzo comes in here, he's never met her. They came into my shop, and yes, he was fighting for it. He was doing most of the talking the first time they came in his white truck. But when I went out to the house, I saw this electric blue, and I think he thinks it's a Isuzu or SUV, but he sees an electric blue vehicle, and the same 2 people are there, and Stacey admits to being there. But I didn't go to the office, and that's because it doesn't look so good. Because when you're so distraught that Mom's missing, why on earth are you remodeling her house? And the one excuse is, well, Richard's telling me that IRS may come take it. And so that's why we're cleaning out all this stuff. And he did all the packing up. And maybe use my truck, but he did all the packing up, but I happen to know that Mom's collectibles are in one storage. The ones that have never, ever been found. The ones that just people happen to think were sold at the yard sale, that Detective Hussey heard Susan say, what does Mom want us to do with this? Or what are we going to do with this? And Stacey says, Mom says we're going to sell. In November, when she's been missing a few months. But the refrigerator from Mom's house is showing up in Stacey's garage. The DVDs, the TVs, and all the stuff is throughout Stacey's house. Well, I just thought we were emptying it out because the IRS is going to come take the house. Look, there's this steel plate on the floor, and her brother's starting to put flooring down, and expensive Chattahoochee stone that normally is used out by a pool. Are we protecting the house from IRS? Or are we fixing it up to sell? Mom is missing? Are we fixing her house up to sell? None of that makes sense. except for the fact that Stacey Kananen knew Mom wasn't coming home. Because she didn't want Mom to take Christopher from Cheryl. Because Richard and Stacey never forgave Mom for their childhood. I thought you should be the last people to take care of that. Since no one can imagine that type of childhood.
All right, I put a poll up. I'm not getting on the poll like Flashman tells me to do. I put a poll up in the chat. And when I started saying that, I put a poll up. I was like, dang it. If Flashman was here, he'd be like, so you could get on it? No. What's up, John
That
Gary?
was his first thing that he was going to say.
Chattahoochee.
Chattahoochee.
Jessica, do you really have to ask? No. We are
Absolutely not.
And Santa's not watching. He joined right in.
Well, Grandma already told me I was getting coal for Christmas, so, what does it matter?
Make a diamond.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I said thanks because now I can stay warm, so.
Yeah. Well, you can't see my feet, so you don't know what I'm wearing.
Oh, man.
Whoever. I don't know how to behave. I'm Jewish. I don't know how to.
For you.
And I don't want to butcher that word. So, but Hanukkah ended last night.
Did it?
No, I'm not even going to try. I'm not going to try it.
Gonna try what?
She spelled it Chanukah. Is that still Hanukkah?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Hope it's not a cold poll. No, just how would you vote if you were on this jury? Is Hanukkah? Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Oh, that would be a Snipe and Bobby question. I don't remember what I said.
What, if it's a cold poll? There he is. Who has a foot fetish here? He says.
I don't know. All the polls in Indiana are cold. Not right now. We're getting a little heat wave for Christmas. It was going to be 64.
It was 50, almost 60 the other day here. And I was like, oh, it's beautiful.
All right. What do you guys got? I said, how would you vote as a juror? We got 7% guilty, 64% not guilty, 29% not sure. I will keep that going for a little bit, but I think you've all voted. So, but I'll still keep it up there.
All right.
A random teenager in Target asked me what he should get his mother for Christmas. Number one, kid, I am not old enough to be your mother. 2, this is the North. We don't talk to strangers.
K-Wow just like runs around. She's just like tasing people. Don't talk to me. Yeah, you're a stranger.
Don't talk to me. Lucky it is 46 here right now. Tomorrow is Festivus. Oh, do I have all the grievances? I'm going to be airing them. Don't worry.
What's
None of you will have to
Festivus?
listen to them. You never watched, I about said, you never watched Jerry Springer? But that'd be Jerry Seinfeld. You ever watched Seinfeld?
No, I did.
Yeah.
Well,
Festivus.
no, I haven't watched. I don't. That's not like my favorite show. No.
Oh,
I haven't really
Festivus
watched that.
was a made-up holiday. So you got to air your grievances.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I just do that every day, so I just say whatever. I can't help it.
I'll keep it up for a while. I say that too, but you know.
It's like time to pop another pill.
Oh, look, I stuffed on pouty pants.
Aww.
Aw. Is that a suspender man sitting behind her? I know he's got his head down right now and you can't see, but I think that is suspender man sitting behind her.
I don't know. What is he doing? Rolling a blunt or something back there? What's happening?
Well, he might be napping. But yeah, she was crying. Now she's not. I'm sure she'll turn on the waterworks. I don't trust her. It's going to be 78 where you're at. Whoops. You got to get the guttural chuck sound. I can't even do that. This chick is still frumpy. Cheryl's face. And her friend, she healed. She didn't look as strokey as she did the other day. And the red did not fit her.
Is that the same person?
I think so. If she
No, that's not the same person.
are you sure? If she put her head over to the side, would it not be the same? Like
I
she
think
was
the other girl had darker hair and a little bit longer.
maybe she cut it.
Or maybe the other one is sitting on the other side of her.
Lots of side boob food on the lady next to the powder.
Yeah. That's actually back fat, so thanks.
To her left is Hussy. Oh, gonna miss old Hussy. I don't know what he's doing in her butt crack.
Well, for Brimley's son is in the back there. It's like diabetes.
I think that's Hussy.
No, the guy with the mustache.
Yeah, isn't that Hussy?
Oh, is it? I don't know. I can't remember what he looks like. Can't remember yesterday, actually.
Yeah, well, I don't remember 5 minutes ago.
I know, right?
All right, you guys, I need to do one more thing and then I'll get back to it. But not there. It's not where I wanted to go. I think I have memberships to gift out, so I'm going to do 5 now.
Nice.
Oh, got him. Robin got one. Adair. Jimmy James.
Aw.
Tayo Toys. And Boss Lady. Congratulations. I hope to do a members only stream very soon. And I have 5 more to gift out before the night's over, so I will do that again.
Really? You gonna do a members only stream?
Sometime, very soon. I don't know when.
All right.
You know, but I'll let you know because you have to be here.
I do.
Yeah, it won't be any fun without you.
Oh, all right.
All right, let's get off Patty. Whoops. Gosh darn it. I don't know what this is, but go away. This thing that comes up. There we go. All right. There we go.
Who's member?
It doesn't give you the right to Cheryl and Chris were taking care of this problem in their way. That didn't give Ricky and Stacey the right to kill Cheryl's mother. It's just not an excuse. When you look at Richard's testimony as he testified here, and you've heard in the beginning, clearly, was he depressed? Ladies and gentlemen, there are suicide attempts and then there are suicide attempts. There are some that are just a cry for help, and then there are some that look like suicide. That was interrupted only because the sheriff's office found them, and only because they happen to be suspects in the murder and have tracking device on them. Putting yourself in a storage unit, her taking NyQuil, him taking Nitol, setting up the hose for the exhaust to pour into the car, writing notes for those who left behind. There's no doubt they don't want to kill themselves. When Richard went to jail, you heard that he went through a hunger strike, and actually his lawyer had to get the order out and force that, and he was taken to the hospital. Well, remember what Dr. Means told you when you talked to him. At that point, he was concerned about his depression, concerned about how he's going to relate to his lawyer because he's so depressed, concerned about the continual suicide efforts because of the hunger strike. But he was oriented. He wasn't suffering delusions, hallucinations. As he talked to Eric Means, and the first thing he said is he wants to talk about his side of the story. Stacey shot Mom while he was there, and then he helped uptake her. Ladies and gentlemen, to talk about a taser is you shoot the taser. It's not one of the tasers you come up and put right on the skin. You shoot it. The probes go out, and then she's duct taped. That as Dr. Means continued to keep our relationship with Richard, kept continuing to say the same thing. Stacey was involved. And how do you know Stacey was involved? Look at Stacey's actions those days. You get a phone call from your sister, your mother's missing, you go over and look around. Oh, her suitcases are missing. Oh, her clothes. How is it that Cheryl, the woman who kept calling the sheriff's office all the time, the woman who hired the private investigator, realizes right away mom's work clothes are missing, her leisure clothes aren't? You heard all this testimony that Stacey's so familiar with the habits of mom, but she doesn't realize the clothes are missing. She doesn't realize that the lanyard that mom only went on a trip with the mom isn't there. She sees the pictures missing and okay. And then there's the little trip to the airport. Richard's told you, yeah, we said we went to the airport, and then Stacey called Cheryl and said, we never went. Ms. Kananen told you it was at least 15 minutes from her mother's house, at least, down to Orlando International Airport. And even if she just went to the Delta terminal, and there's 6 floors of cars to go through, it would take hour after hour to comb through there, looking for your mother's car. And Cheryl says, I live 2 or 3 miles away, and I was not home long before my brother and sister called me. And Ricky says, we said we went to the airport as an illusion, we were looking for mom. And Stacey says, oh no, it was much, much longer. Really? Because if you're desperate and you want to know, and you're just hoping and praying you're going to find your mother's car that's missing, you're going to go floor to floor. You're going to go row to row, and that's going to take hours. And you know she didn't do it because she had time that very day to go up to Stanford where her mother worked, to stand around the office. Okay, you went there to find out some clues about where your mother is, but you just stand there? Your brother looks a little on the top of the desk. And Ricky tells you the truth of what they did. It was to give an illusion. And Stacey says, well, maybe he's doing that, but I really was looking. So why are you standing there? Wouldn't you be combing through that desk? Wouldn't you be talking to every single coworker to find out anything your mother might have said? She wasn't. At some point after that, she knows her brother got his license changed, and now she loses that day. They had lots of things to do that day. Lots of things happened on the 12th. Eric tells you the truth. Richard says, I got it to take the mail and have it delivered to our house because the bank statement. No one really wanted the police to have those bank statements because they were going to show all the same thing. There was the e-pass. Mom's car didn't go anywhere after September 10th. There's the bank accounts. Bill paid to 3 acres. General Electric. To Stacey Kananen. To Richard Kananen. A bill paid to the account. It started out with about $138,000, and Jennifer Lasley told you that the last statement in December that may not actually be your package, it was down to about $92,000 because all those bill paychecks were cleared. And all this money is coming out of Maryland's account, and Stacey wants to play see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. I know nothing. Then why call Son Trust? Is she calling them up saying, I'm Stacey Kananen, the daughter of Marilyn Kananen. My mother's missing. Here's the police report that was first done. Call the sheriff's office. I'm just trying to follow up and find out if you know anything. No, she's calling to find out if why didn't answer proceedings. Why the money's been cut off. And when you listen to that conversation she had with Corporal Ruggiero, the detective's hand, she seemed mystified over $100,000, and clearly $100,000 wasn't taken. Why is she mystified? Wondering what Richard got more cheated? And Richard sat up there and told you he's the one who was basically the online accounting guru. But his sister was with him, and he can tell you his sister was with him when he called Son Trust. And how did she have all that information? Do you really think, ladies and gentlemen, you call up a bank account and say a name, and they look up everything, and they're going to give you all the answers? That ain't going to happen. She tries to say she's Maryland, she has all the info. Now every year around their birthdays, Susan's birthday and Stacey's birthday being all at the same time, they would go on trips. And the cruise had been planned between Susan and her mother, and what in good time? Do you really think it's such a coincidence that Susan goes over to camp to get her mother, and that's the time that Marilyn Kananen is killed? It's not. Because that gets her out of the house that night. And they can make their plans for dinner and a movie. And Stacey tried to tell you that we didn't do that during the week. Then why didn't she tell the detectives that she last spoke to her mother on Tuesday and called her up about dinner and a movie? That we've been doing that about every week or two. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, Mom and I never did that, and then tell the detectives you did. And then there's Susan's license plate. And clearly Susan's car comes in that house. And what I want to tell you is that clearly when you look at the records from Golden Rock Storage, it was opened in August, and they didn't first come into it until September 14th. And then there were many, many entries through September and October and November, and then the car was moved from storage unit to storage unit. Did they wait for the last time to move it when Susan was gone? First of all, ladies and gentlemen, the first night Marilyn Kananen got moved out of her house after she was murdered, they didn't need that license plate. No one knew she was missing. She went home from work, and everyone expected her to show up the same day. And it wasn't until late in the evening on September 11th of 2003 that she was reported missing, and there would have been any information of a Volvo on this Toyota. So that night they didn't use Susan's plate. Later on, that's it. And why it was moved from storage unit to storage unit, who knows? But when you listen to Stacey's discussion with the detectives and you listen to Richard and Stacey's discussion, they clearly talk about the storage units, several storage units, things being moved. Who knows? Did they wonder if people were checking up on them? Murder don't always make sense. But not needing the license plate one night and needing it later on makes sense. And Susan just really can't seem to tell you when that license plate was missing. And Stacey had no idea that the car was at her house. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to talk to you about credibility of witnesses. Credibility of witnesses goes to each and every one who testifies. You can look at how straightforward the person is and how they answer the questions. You can look at whether or not they have anything gained in the day. You can look at their ability to observe and recollect. You can look at any bias they may have. You can look at the fact of whether or not they've been convicted of a crime before. There's no doubt that Richard Kananen is a convicted murderer. Sat up there and told you. But you have to look at Richard. What has he gained here today? Was he mad at Stacey because she was a witness? Then wouldn't it be Cheryl he wants thrown under the bus? Because the driving force of Marilyn Kananen's children behind this investigation and prosecution, the person who's got everybody's phone on speed dial is Cheryl. And it's Cheryl's family Chris, and it's Cheryl's family Christopher, we're all involved in this. Doesn't it make more sense than what he told you that he wanted to bring closure to his sister Cheryl and his nephew Christopher? Do you really think that if Stacey was involved, that that's what he would use with his child that he loves so much? Is he taking Stacey away too? You heard from Dr. Mings, he said from the beginning and would say each time, I want to tell my story, Stacey's gone. A little bit angry that he's been arrested? Sure. Two people committed a crime together once ago now. But look at what he did in the beginning. When asked by Detective Hussey about Stacey, or asked by one of the detectives Stacey's involvement, his answer was, I don't want to say. Not she wasn't, not she was, but I don't want to say. Because for all of the bad things that Richard's done, for the fact he is a murderer, he's still protective of his family. Because he was stuck in that position at a very, very young age. Everyone in the family will tell you that Richard got it the worst. That Richard, you heard from Cheryl, did take them out of this burning house. Twice. That Richard, even when they're talking there, reaches out for her hands and Stacey starts to cry. And what is she upset over? And she's going to jail. Not that the police are telling her your mother's not coming home. Not that her brother supposedly is looted and she at that point thinks it's $100,000 from her mother. What are Stacey's concerns? That she's going to jail, that she's going to lose her truck, and she needs to give him back the money in Bank of America. But she wants you to think, I love her mother so much. That whole sibling relationship. Cheryl, somebody goes by the yard sale, she believes they're selling her mother's collectibles, she's calling up. What are you doing? Stacey's like, I'm not selling your mother's collectibles. Your mother. This is the woman who's supposed to be missing you're so concerned about. Those were Stacey's words today. Your mother. And Cheryl's saying, you know something about mother's leaving, you better tell me. That's a normal sibling reaction. And yes, maybe they're not that normal, but this is a person who came out of the same chaotic, dysfunctional family. Stacey, they're gonna take my truck? She said it twice. Can I give back the money in Bank of America? And then she keeps saying, we're gonna go to jail, and Richard says something, and then she'll even ask them, are they gonna arrest me? Because she still thinks her brother's gonna protect her. In fact, even when he talks about committing suicide, he talks about writing a note. A dying declaration, and what did she say? They'll still come after me. Now, Ms. Kananen today would like you to believe that she really wasn't planning to commit suicide at the sheriff's office, and that I wish I could take pills somehow when she had a migraine. She may have been playing stupid with the detectives, but did she really think the rest of us are that dumb? That she goes by her mother's house and she sees they're already starting to dig and do things there. And when I kept asking her, what'd you see? What'd you see? Did I get a straight answer? Ladies and gentlemen, when you look at the difference between the siblings in this case and how they testify, Richard, did you kill your mother? That's it. And in fact, there's only one answer who's hedging on answering, and that was about the abuse of Nancy's mother. Last effort to still protect. But Stacey, was she straightforward on that witness stand? What'd you see when you went by your mother's house? I don't know. What did you see? Well, I think they said something about digging. No, what did you see? She goes by her mom's house. They're there working on her mom's house. She goes to her own house. And if she's still saying, I don't know what Richard did. I don't know what he killed my mother. I have no idea. Please, come on. That's just not believable. And then we went to Walmart, and I'm so afraid of my brother, who's always protected me, who's never abused me, who's basically took the brunt of his kids. I'm so afraid of him. I sit out there with truck. He goes into Walmart. I have no idea why. He's already told me he wants to commit suicide. I don't know why. Did she call the police? Did she call her sister Cheryl? No, she called Susan, her mother, at some point during this lovely ride from the sheriff's office. Interesting enough, Susan says, oh, I came home to the house and went by Marilyn's house and the police were there, and then I went to my house and I was so distraught. Stacey says, I called her while I was in that storage unit. It's clear from the note she wrote to Susan, Richard and I knew it was all over after we were at the sheriff's office. But Susan wants you to think she was shocked when she got home. What did they say in that conversation? You don't think she was calling her to say goodbye? Don't think Susan rushed home? Why is it that there's selective memory between Susan and Stacey? Why is it that Stacey can remember writing a note to Susan? She waits until her trial to remember endorsing a check, although, ladies and gentlemen, it's your decision on credibility of witnesses. You can decide how straightforward she was about that. But she just said she signed it or not. Clearly, she went to devil in the past and lied about it. In her brother's case, when she wasn't charged. But when she testified, something had changed. Handwriting expert come in and said it was highly probable it was her signature. She does all of this. She writes this note to Susan. We had something to do with Mother's leaving. Oh, I meant that I brought Richard in the house. Really? Somehow him living with her made him kill his mother, gave him more access? Richard was in and out of the picture over the years and certainly at his mother's house. So we had something to do with Mother's leaving. We knew it was all over after we left the police. Those are the words she wrote. But today she wants to hide behind them and say, I don't know. It was all my brother. I just don't know. She sits there and says, I want you to have a chance at a future, and me being with you will not allow that. Please know that when I called you about the cops, that Rick and I knew it was over for us. We had a part of Mother's leaving. Please let the police do whatever they must at the house. It even goes on to say she sold some Disney stocks and arranged for a check to come to her. She already knew this was coming down the pipe. Why did they know that? Why grief? Started out killing Mom to protect Christopher, and greed reared its ugly head. Richard says it many times in their conversation about SunTrust. Stacey talks about her beloved truck, talks about the Bank of America account. And so the check that was disputed, she admits, yeah, I probably endorsed that. I just thought it was for Mom. And she's not really clear on that memory. Doesn't that sound strange? You get a check and your mom's been missing for a couple of months and I'm just not real sure about you. And then the one last thing, but ladies and gentlemen, I may have written it. It sounds like something I could have written. I love you and the kids with all my heart. Now that's something I'd say, and well, it seems kind of like what I would write, maybe a little shakier. And yeah, I probably wrote it that time. I just don't think I wrote it that day. I love you and the kids with all my heart. Please believe me when I say we couldn't let Mother take the kids away from you. I've always loved you and the kids, Stacey. She hadn't talked to Cheryl about Mother taking the kids. Because see, the whole sibling network, you talk to everybody but that person. But she writes this note, and what she wants to say is, well, maybe I wrote it. But remember what her and Susan told you? After she got the letter from Cheryl to them, laid on her pillow, and Richard got one, she showed it to her mom. And Susan said, maybe you should call Cheryl up. Maybe you should write her a note. No, I don't do that. So Stacey's told you, she didn't write this for that. And Richard told you when he wrote his note that there was nothing on the bottom. Do you really think that she wrote this note earlier, that somewhere it's in this notebook and Rick just happened to find, just lo and behold, happened to find the right page and Richard writes this note? That's just not believable. But why do we have to go through these charades? You heard from the handwriting expert, she wrote it. Why? Because in case you want to believe that we had something to do with Mother's leaving, is I brought Richard in the house. How do you get past, we couldn't let Mother take the kids away from you? because that's the whole issue in this case. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you kill a family member, here's a lot of members. Want you to make sure your mother never takes Christopher away from Cheryl. Years of resentment and anger over your childhood. And well, grandpa died, and there's a lot of money. And these people are struggling. We look at Stacey's testimony on this witnessing and how she testified and how so many things she hemmed and hawed. I would say she endorsed the check, and then say she wasn't sure she endorsed the check. Say maybe she says, remember, I don't recall writing this note. Well, if I wrote the note, it would have been sooner. Well, it looks like my handwriting needs a little shakier. Don't you think, ladies and gentlemen, when you're trying to commit suicide, you might be a little nervous? That you don't know what to expect? Because let's face it, it's not something you can experience and come back and try again. Don't you think she'd have been a bit distraught? They might have gotten away with it, except for that night, except for his checks, except for doing stupid things like remodeling mom's garage when mom's missing. But people make mistakes. Ladies and gentlemen, the state of Florida has to show and prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt that Marilyn Kananen's dead. There's no doubt. You have to prove that it's a criminal act to another, and clearly there's no doubt from the medical examiner on what you saw is that it's a homicide, that she died from being suffocated. You heard from Richard Kananen that he held down the bandana for a long time on her mouth to nose. But Stacey was right behind him after she used the taser. We heard a lot about, well, the taser, that there's only one probe. Marilyn Kananen's body traveled a few miles before she reached her final resting place. She was duct taped, her wrists, her legs, her mouth and nose, placed in trash bags, carried out of mom's house, placed in a car, driven away to some storage unit. And at some point, her car was moved to the last storage unit, the Goldenrod, because you know that it wasn't accessed from August till September 14th. So it couldn't have been moved there the night she was first killed. At the time the car was found, it has Susan's license plate. And so the taser, somewhere along the line, mom's car is moved from the storage unit back over to Stacey and Richard's house, driven in the garage, the body's taken out, carried out to a final resting place. Was she tased? Marilyn Kananen say? Hopefully. It's not really the issue here. She was suffocated. And there were two people in on this. And just because Richard Kananen has come in and pled guilty to second-degree murder does not excuse what is his involvement. She couldn't even come in here and say, well, Richard told me and I covered up for it. It was, I don't know. She's going weird into jail. And because they whisper, because they're talking so low, there's portions of it that may not reach the train.
Did they just cut out some of her closing? Not complaining, but that was a weird edit. So she's almost done, obviously. But then we have her battle. Oh my gosh. Are you talking about Susan? I mean, Stacey? Susan. Right? Oh, Susan's the girlfriend. I'm like, I didn't see it. But I don't blame her if she did. Dodo and the judge, too. He just looks at her red suit and thinks, oh, she's a peppermint.
Yeah, he's just waiting to unwrap her. He's just waiting to unwrap her.
I was 45 minutes late tonight, and I can swear to you, I will not be backing it up to catch the beginning. No, we were just talking at the beginning. I promise.
Yeah.
We were way better. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's the one thing as I've been kind of listening to her, I've zoned out a couple times. If Stacey is involved, and I'm with Snipe about the self-deletion attempt, she clearly cares for Susan, and Susan clearly cares for her, and she clearly like cares for Susan's mother and vice versa. Why would she put her mom in the backyard and then put Susan's license plate on the mom's car? Why would she even to give any inkling that do anything that could implicate Susan in the alleged crime?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Haley, maybe it was Susan pretending it to be the other person, her, Stacey, you know?
Yeah, you mean Susan or Cheryl?
Her tablecloth sister.
That's Cheryl. Susan's their girlfriend.
Okay. All right. So the other person, her sister.
I don't think Stacey would have done anything to put Susan in danger of
Hated
being
Susan. Oh, maybe they were saying Susan did it.
yeah.
The girlfriend.
Yeah. But I don't think she would do that to her. Like Cheryl would. I think Cheryl would. Cheryl and when like Cheryl leaves the letters for Stacey and is like blah 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 about her kids and whatever. That would be my reaction to that too. If I'd been trying and something and then somebody's like doesn't want my help, I wouldn't go seek them out and be like, why not?
Right.
I'd be like, fine, that's fine. Go about it. Like go do whatever you're gonna do. But I wouldn't write a note back. I wouldn't call. I wouldn't do anything. I would just leave it alone. So
Right.
that doesn't bother me as that's not a guilty factor for me.
Kind of like how Puddletown said details.
Nah. Thanks, whoever. Such a good point. I'll take the compliment. Looks more like someone who's trying to frame both of them.
Yeah.
Has anything this family done made any sense? No.
Yeah,
But
absolutely not. Yeah.
Stacey's actions make the most sense out of the other two. So, well, mine is gone, and I didn't offer. I promise. But she's no longer with us. I don't know. Deidre, I think you're agreeing with me. I'll take it.
Right? I agree with you.
I'll take
Awesome.
it. Awesome. Thanks.
Love it. Thank you.
To me, the older brother and sister give psychopath vibes, but Stacey gives PTSD vibes, not psychopath. Yeah.
Yeah. She was the most like not weirdo vibes up on the stand. Like she was like super calm and like answered every question. Like,
Yeah.
there was no like hesitation to like anything she said.
Nope. And I think Cheryl had hesitation in what she was saying.
Yeah.
And the whole when Stacey was on the stand and the defense was questioning her and the reaction that Cheryl and her estranged husband had about some of the stuff that Stacey was saying, and then they're like giving this big reaction of "Oh my gosh," type of thing, and then they look over at the jury to see if the jury's watching them. That felt so bad. Like, don't do. And then when the defense or when the state was accused of, kind of jumping up and turning and smiling at Cheryl, like, we got her. She never denied that she did that. Like
Right.
the state never said I didn't do that. She never denied doing it at all.
Right.
Which is not like those things just don't sit well with me. Whatever it is. I don't know. Cheryl came in with the drama on the stand. Yeah, she's maintained it in the gallery too. Like,
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're almost done.
Her hair in itself causes trauma. So that's a lot of teasing you got to do, to get it to look like that. So,
Yes, super calm can be looked at as odd also. Yes. You
it
thought she
can,
sounded
yeah.
as coached as everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all depends on what they need it to be, too. They were talking about Cheryl calling the police department all the time to, check up, see how things are going, hiring the private investigator. Well, I've seen people brought to trial because they called the police department every day wanting an update, and they took it as they were just, too involved.
Trying to get more info.
Yes, they wanted more
for their own
information.
benefit.
Yep. They wanted to see if the police were on to them. So it's like there is never a right reaction.
That's very true. That's very, very true.
So I don't know. But we're almost done with her closing. The state's closing is 30 minutes. So that tells you something. Hers is an hour and her rebuttal. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The defense closing, I'm sorry, is 38 minutes. The rebuttal is 30 minutes. So the state's going to go on for an hour and a half, and the defense is not even going to go for 40 minutes.
Well, you know what? Thank you, defense. Bravo. Seriously. You know what? Round of applause, everyone.
You can kind of be like, is that telling? Who's saying more versus who doesn't feel like they need to say as much? I don't know. I'll be excited to hear.
I don't know. I just feel like whatever she's saying, I don't even know.
I don't know either. And I thought that was a hair, but that's her face. So
I thought it was a hair. That's just her face. My bad.
She got so close. I'm like, come on, get it. And then I realized it's just a line on. My gosh, my stomach it's just a line on her face. So whatever. Yeah, she needs some cream. Better get some lotion on that.
She needs some cream.
Like Susan's face is better than her. You better take care.
You need some cream. Get that cream, girl.
It does work wonders. Get it on there. Deidre, I'm just gonna leave that up there.
Priceless.
Just leave it sitting there all the rest of the night.
Oh man, I love it.
Bad Dather. I don't. Nope. Nope. Oh my gosh. No, you don't. No. I don't know if she gets up and complains at all the juries for her closing, but she just does not. I don't know. I hope she's nicer outside of the courtroom.
I doubt it.
Okay.
She probably yells at someone who, I don't know, puts too many tomatoes in her salad when she orders lunch or something. That's what she looks like,
There's too many sprinkles on my donut.
Yeah. She puts her hand on her hip and everything and yells at them.
Points at.
Yeah.
We wanted 20. There's like 40.
Yeah. Too many.
All right. Hitting play now.
All right.
And as you evaluate this case, you can't ask to hear that over and over again. Because it states its words to show that there's no doubt that Richard's not making up for his own. She's not just the little passenger. She knew about the money, she knew about the car, she knew about the storage unit, and her concern was her truck, her bank accounts, and if she was going to jail. Ladies and gentlemen, the state of Florida has to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. A reasonable doubt is not a possible doubt, a speculative doubt, a forged doubt, or an imaginary one. If you have an invited conviction of guilt, you should and must convict her of the highest crime that's been proven in this case. The fact that Richard Kananen chose to walk into a courtroom to raise his right hand, take a plea, and be sentenced to 30 years in the Department of Corrections to prevent his sister and his nephew from going through the last horrendous few weeks does not make what Stacey Kananen did, second-degree murder. Ms. Kananen has the right to have a trial. She has a right to testify. And when she testifies, you need to treat her like any other witness. With any witness, you can believe all of, none of, or some of their testimony. You have to look at what fits the other evidence in the case. You have to ask yourself if what they say really causes you to have a reasonable doubt. A simple suggestion to that is like the movie. Was it 6:30? Was it 7? Doesn't really matter. Do you really think that in May of 2007, when Richard Kananen's just entered a plea to 30 years at the Department of Corrections, he remembers the exact time of the movie? But he remembers going to the movie and going with his oldest, and he remembers his sister's armed with a taser in the back of her pants with her jacket over it. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes as you look at cases, you say things may sound a little odd, don't make sense. Because let's face it, most women love carry horses. Some bigger than others. And Stacey Kananen told you today she never carried a horse. So that's why Taser's in the back of her pants. It's not like she's carrying around suitcases that some of us like to put that taser in. And yes, Richard's the one who went out and bought it. And look at his testimony in contrast to her. Yeah, I love a taser. I'm the one who had more time. Yeah, I'm the one who did the online banking accounts. Knew more about computers. Well, my sister was with me some of the time. And you know she was with them because she has all this information on SunTrust. And you know she called SunTrust. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to Stacey's testimony, there's a lot there that just doesn't make any sense at all. Did Richard at times exaggerate his illness to go to the hospital? Yeah. Derek means tell you that he actually was concerned about his state of depression, his state of suicide, and felt he needed to go to the hospital for that. But that he actually seems to be quite aware of the violent with his stats. Stacey shot my mother and I updated him. It doesn't make him not worthy of belief. And you heard Dr. Means tell you that people suffering from severe depression. And even with the voices he hears from his dad, and you have to think of that and put that in perspective. This is a child who's been yelled at time and time again. He's been physically abused, sexually abused, and emotionally abused by this man. And so is it really the concept of actual voice? Are those thoughts that go through a child's head who's been beaten down his entire life, you're no good, and recalling those things that are yelled at him? Because what Dr. Means did tell you is he never really saw any active delusion or hallucination. Richard wrote a book about a man going out and rescuing abused children and told some stories about that? Yeah. Don't you just know that Richard Kananen wished that person existed when he was a child? Don't you just know that Richard Kananen wished someone would sweep in and kill his father and save these kids as they were children growing up? But it's a book. It doesn't take away from Cheryl. We couldn't let mother take the kids away from them. From telling Susan, her partner in life, we had something to do with mother's leaving. Because see, this case is not just based on Richard Kananen. It's based on Stacey. It's based on her actions. It's based on her words. Ladies and gentlemen, when you look at this case, you look at how she acted that night. Look at how she acted when they came over for her birthday. And her frustration she showed at the witness stand that they came by unannounced for her birthday. The fact that this Christopher, who she loves so much, needs to use the bathroom and she's literally putting her foot there to stop him from going in the room because she's worried about his dog. She couldn't put the dog outside. She couldn't have said, oh, there's an issue here, go over here. That Chris isn't being prevented from Ricky from even coming in the house. When you look at she's hearing these stories, the dad came back, but dad hadn't been seen until a couple of weeks before Cheryl's wedding. When you look at she's getting an account from her mother and she's cashing it and not talking to anyone. When you look at what she says to the sheriff's office and how she then tells her brother she played stupid. And then one thing happened she never thought would. Her brother made a decision to stop protecting her. Lieutenant Osley, a customer decided needed closure, and so it showed. Ladies and gentlemen, we look at all of this, and we look at the words of Stacey herself. Based on the evidence, she did it. She's guilty. You should convict her as charged.
Thank goodness. Shush.
Hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah. Where's Flash Fan when he needs chorus singing?
No kidding. Here we go. Oh, this looks interesting.
Just the end of it, whoever? Just the end was absurd? Oh. I mean, all right.
Oh, well, we get closed captions for the one that's going to probably stay by the microphone, so that's good, you know.
Unbelievable.
Right.
She's like, I'm just going to go to the podium real quick and like turn
to
these
hear
pages
her.
right in front of the mic. So all you heard was, and then she walked away from the mic and started talking. I'm like, that was helpful.
Oh my gosh. All right. Here's the defense. I'm ready. See what she has to say. Hopefully we can hear her. Cheese. But at least we have some closed captionings that might be like 80% correct.
All right. Well, you know, either way, it'll be fun.
Better than nothing.
That's true.
All right, Ms. Dennis.
Thank you. For one last time, good afternoon, good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Tony and Stacey and myself, thank you so much for the patience you've shown, the attention you've shown in this most important cases. I'd like to first start out by pointing out three things that may be obvious. One of which is that, as we talked about in the jury selection, because I have chosen to present evidence to you, because I've chosen to put on witnesses, including Stacey, that does not in any way shift the burden to defense. So in other words, if you decide that there's any part of defense witnesses that you do not find credible or compelling, I invite you, don't acknowledge them. Because I believe that there is enough reasonable doubt in the state case that you do not need to deal with the defense case at all if you don't want to. The second thing I want to point out is that Stacey Kananen is not charged with theft. She could have been charged with theft, she was not. And the third thing I want to point out is that sarcasm doesn't make evidence more weighty. There isn't a single item that was argued to you should be used to convict somebody of murder, to have somebody found beyond every reasonable doubt of murder. It did not exist on December 22, 2003. Law enforcement had all of this stuff that was spoken about. They had the audio and videotapes. They had the check that was clearly cashed. They had the conversations with the bank. They had the suspicious being together with your brother around the garage. They had the items being taken out of the house and what they thought were items being sold at the garage sale. There isn't a single piece of evidence that didn't exist in December 22 of 2003, but for Richard. The state did not need Stacey Kananen to convict Richard Kananen of murder. Richard had bought the taser, he bought the freezer, he got the storage units. He confessed that evening at the hospital to having killed his mother, and he told them where the body was. They did not need Stacey Kananen. But instead of charging her and saying, we have probable cause, we're going to charge her, they don't. And they put her on a witness list. And they have her testify in a proceeding against her brother on at least two occasions, one in a courtroom like this one, for a judge like that one, and they put her on the stand. They had her get in just like they did Richard. They had her get in a box like this. They had her swear to tell the truth, and they questioned her.
Ms. Tennis was not present. She can't testify to exactly what happened.
Overruled. This is closing argument. Go ahead.
Stacey Kananen testified as a witness for that prosecutor in the case against her brother. All the evidence they had existed then. Apparently, back then, instead of charging her so that she would have a fresh memory of what had happened and what she hadn't signed, what she hadn't written when, they decided to wait. But they didn't decide to wait for no good reason. They decided to wait because they knew responsibly they did not have probable cause to charge her with murder. Detective Hussey testified that since the arrest of Richard Kananen on December 22, 2003, he has continued working the case. I submit to you that there hasn't been a single thing that's changed in all that time. We'll talk about the handwriting briefly in a moment, but that had nothing to do with anything. The fact is that when Stacey Kananen was shown the back of that check, she said, it doesn't look like my signature because there's no middle initial, and nobody showed her the front of it. Nobody told her. In fact, you look at the back of that copied check, you can't tell what bank it's written off of. You can't tell what account it's written off of. There's no date on it that you can read on those copies. She was given the opportunity to explain those things that were conveniently given to her. Let's talk about the note to Susan. Everybody knew that existed from December 22. It was found on the dash of the car. And she acknowledged from the beginning that she wrote it. How can this letter be so damning today if back then it was so unimportant? It was so not relevant to whether or not she was a murderer that they were going to put her on a witness stand to say, my brother admitted to me that he killed my mother and I had nothing to do with it. How does this become a smoking gun when before it wasn't evidence that she was involved at all? This note, and all of these notes, all of them appear to be taken out of the same notebook. A notebook that, although you weren't shown it by the state, clearly you can leaf through it, has all sorts of old writing that's from months prior, including an old note from that September from Stacey to Susan. They show.
Well, hello, Camilla at the Christmas chinchilla. I like it.
What is it?
Camilla at the Christmas chinchilla. And it's a chinchilla.
All right. Well,
I like
nice.
it. I like it. And they're in the profile picture. It's cute. Chinchillas are cute.
Grandma has 2 chinchillas.
It does not surprise me
Yeah.
at all.
They have their own YouTube channel.
That also does not surprise me. Nothing Grandma does surprises me.
You know what? Same.
But thanks for jumping in for a minute. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
and we have Haley the Christmas mouse. We have Haley the
That's
Christmas
true.
mouse, and now we have the Christmas chinchilla.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, I already like this closing better than the other one, so it's starting off stronger.
Yeah.
Aw, you got me, Frank.
That's Frank?
Says, yes, he's much cuter than me, Frank. You got me, Frank. It's still so cute, though. Is
That's-
that your chinchilla?
No, Frank doesn't have a chinchilla.
Maybe.
Frank, you silly little wascal, you. You got me. You got me.
Yeah, she is actually making some points. and good ones, especially about how this note didn't mean anything.
Right.
And now it's like supposed to put her away. Yeah, you got us. You got us. I always look at that. First, I thought it was Flash fan. I was like, no. And I was like, man, I have never seen that before.
Yeah. Honestly, though, like I was skeptical at first. I thought, is that Lesko? And then I was like, no, it's definitely not Flash fan because there's,
That's not Flash fan.
yeah, there's no food in the name.
Nope. And
So-
Lesko would not. That's not a Lesko name.
Yeah.
Because Camilla the Christmas chinchilla is cute.
It is kind of cute, though.
Not that Lesko's names aren't cute.
Well, they're mainly not.
They're funny.
They're mainly just like shocking or kind of makes you giggle, but still shocking, you know?
I'm sorry, Haley. When
Aw.
if you renew it and then when you put your monthly one up, you can tell me like Puddletown and Lesko that it's actually been longer.
Well, it doesn't matter how long you don't have it anymore. If you renew it or if you get a gifted one, it still counts it from the last time that you had it.
Oh,
So if
see,
you had it for 3
Nice.
months, if you get it again, it'll be like, 4 month,
There's
5
never
month.
left.
It just
Got
it just keeps adding on.
nice.
It doesn't make you start from like month 1.
So there you go, Puddletown. You're all good. You're all caught up.
Yeah, there we go.
Thanks, Haley. I appreciate it. Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. That was a really long
That was
long vacay you had
a very
there.
long vacation. Don't ever do that again. We missed you
Yeah,
so much.
unbelievable. I didn't believe it. It's gone way too long.
I agree. That is
That's
better.
better.
All right, back to some tomato soup. I can't not.
All right.
I saw another soup that color this weekend, and I'm like, thanks, Gabby. That is tomato soup.
It totally is. I mean, she just left that jacket on the back of her, driver's seat in the sun. It's sun damaged jacket.
It's just tomato soup.
Yeah,
That's-
it
that's
really
what it
is.
All righty, here we go.
All right. Okay.
This note, the original, to their handwriting person so that he can try to talk to you intelligently about when that might have been written. In fact, nobody can tell you when it was written. Richard says he didn't recognize the note, that he didn't know that she had written it, that he didn't know what she'd written in the car. Nobody can certainly tell you when it was written. There's another interesting thing about this note. If you read the top of this, the Cheryl note with love, Richard, the top of that note goes along with the sentiment of, we're sorry, we butted into your business. Please don't hold this against us. Follows the same sentiment that would have been active at the time that Cheryl left the note a month prior. The second half looks totally different. The writing looks different. It looks like it may have been written at a different time in the signature. We don't know. Richard never even identified that note. Their handwriting person was specifically told not to look at it. If you're trying to make an evaluation of what Richard did and didn't write, why would you tell the person to testify to the jury at a murder trial to ignore something like that? Well, they had it from December 22, 2003. Perhaps they made the same conclusions that I did. Obviously, it wasn't a smoking gun
State would
then.
object to Ms. Tennis testifying to her personal belief in closing. It is completely improper.
That's a mistake.
Clearly, it wasn't that important at that point. Maybe because they knew that you couldn't prove when it was written or what it was in reference to. And in fact, as Stacey testified, the first time she even got a look at it was in 2008, 2009. That is a good 5 to 6 years after the fact that she's being asked for the first time, Did you write this and when? Now, is it out of the question that Richard Kananen penned that letter? He appears to have penned lots of letters while sitting in the truck. Does it make sense that carbon monoxide would affect him slower at 350 pounds than it would his tiny sister? Probably. Have a lot more time to write, thumb through notebooks. Set up your fallback position. I'm going to ask you to take a look at number 15. This is the handwriting witness for the state. His evaluation of Richard's writing to compare to those notes. The method he used was to do his own forgery in 2 columns and then, I guess, compare his ability to forge Stacey, or his ability to forge Richard rather, versus his ability to forge the question. And when I asked him about it, he said something that struck me. He said, yes, I can see the signs of forgery in there with the uneven lines and that kind of thing. I think he did a very nice job. But if you'll look at this bottom note that has the signature Stacey, has the same kind of line problems that he's talking about being evident in forgery. So if all of the evidence that is being argued to you should convince you beyond every reasonable doubt was not enough to have somebody charged with murder for more than 4 years, then that means the thing that happened at the end of those 4 years better be convincing. We're going to go from no probable cause to beyond a reasonable doubt. It better be convincing. That brings us to Richard. Richard has to be convincing to make this case. I don't believe that the evidence you will find is that Richard was depressed. Richard was and is delusional. Richard was so committed to the lie of being mentally unstable that he was willing to go to lengths that I would submit the normal person couldn't go to if they wanted to. A starvation diet that resulted, I believe he said, in the loss of 120 pounds. He let his hygiene go to the point that he would put his own feces on himself. This is a commitment to looking crazy, or he's as psychotic as the people at the state hospital said he was. When Richard lies, he's committed to his lie. He was so committed to the lies he told to cover up his murder that he had everyone, including Cheryl and Chris and Susan and Stacey, he had everyone convinced that their father was back. That was the focus of Cheryl's statement to the police that first night, that their father was back. He was so convincing that no one thought to say, wait a minute, do the math. The guy would be old. How is that possible? No one. That's how good a liar he is. And he continued to string those lies in a very convincing way and convinced lots of people, including Susan and Stacey. And Susan, totally unbelievable at this trial, but she was listed as a state witness. She was deposed. They were ready to put her on the stand and have her testify for them under oath. Richard is a liar. Certainly when he got up here and said, I didn't tell my nephew those things. I didn't tell him I knew how to rob banks. I didn't tell him I knew how to kill people and make it look like suicide. I didn't tell people I traveled around the country. Christopher wasn't lying about that. He had certainly no motivation to say negative things about Richard. She just lied. When he told Dr. Mings, oh, well, back up, Richard the liar, he gets arrested. The first thing he does is tell his family members, I didn't do what Stacey did. Stacey killed Mom. And then he talks to Dr. Mings, and he's unhappy that his having attempted to deflect the blame off him was not successful in getting her charged, and he's not happy about that. And so he tells Dr. Mings, my sister shot Mom. Doesn't say anything about the fact that he killed Mom. He's not accepting responsibility with Dr. Mings. And in that same conversation, is telling Dr. Mings that he was prostituted by his parents for weekends at a time regularly as a child. Richard as the protector. I don't know where this theme comes from. There are 2 fires. Cheryl only remembers one of them. She was very young. Stacey doesn't remember either of them. He's the one telling this family legend. There's not one single story of him ever successfully or dramatically saving either of his sisters or his mother from actual harm. He's so protective of his 11-year-old nephew that he tells him outrageous stories about crime and how to commit crime and how to kill people and about being sodomized. That's not protecting an 11-year-old nephew you love so much. Richard's aura of protector is totally self-created. He has created a drama in his own world where he is the star. He has written a book about a boy named Richard who's abusive and gets into misadventures, including killing abusive parents. A little later in the book, date stamped 750 or so, he talks about, the story goes on to a multiple killer who is able to outfox the police by leaving them taunting and misleading notes in the car where the killer has left the body of his last victim. Richard has created the story of Richard the Protector. Whether he should be on Risperdal because he is psychotic, or shouldn't be on Risperdal because he's only very good at faking psychotic, he's clearly not credible. He's told, version 1, Dad came back, took Mom. Version 2, Mom's away because she's going to be charged for having stolen Dad's money. Version 3, Stacey did it. Oh, I'm sorry, version 3 is I did it. Version 4 is Stacey did it. Version 5 is I did it and Stacey helped me. And he didn't come up with that until 4.5 years into his lies about what happened in this case. As far as being a credible witness on the stand, apparently the state would have you forgive his memory problems and not forgive Stacey, who's in here trying to relate to you what happened going on 7 years ago. If you compare the demeanor of Richard in here versus the Richard we saw on the tape he's clearly verbal and in control, loose. On the stand, he testified like a drugged up robot. Like someone repeating back what he's supposed to say. And like someone who's never really had their story questioned. All he had to do was give his cockamamie story, which doesn't make sense on many levels. And apparently Detective Hussey thought, well, great. 4.5 years later, Richard said she was there and had a hand in it. So now that puts that final little chink in, I got my probable cause now, great. Well, none of that story was tested. Let's talk about the taser a minute. Detective Hussey, now this may have been his first case there in homicide, but clearly he's been around for a while. It's been many, many years in the interim You've got Richard's case pending all that time. I don't think you want to be short on your case against him. You've got Stacey's case pending for a considerable amount of time. You certainly know I'm going to be asking some questions. So why is it that Richard Kananen tells you the taser looks like this? Detective Hussey tells you that he talked to his taser experts. They've got the taser receipt. They've got the lead. And that taser looked like a handgun. Why is it that somebody who is career law enforcement, who is carrying around as a routine part of his job, a weapon that if utilized can cause an electrical charge that will kill somebody, can't tell you the first thing about how this thing works? Oh, it doesn't matter if it worked or not. Well, it does. He can't tell you if it's meaningful that there's no second lead in her clothing. He can't tell you if it's meaningful that that second lead may not touch her. I think it's clear that it is meaningful, because if he didn't have a full circuit, that means she wasn't affected, and that means somebody had to physically restrain her. That's not part of Richard's story. Richard claims that he went out and that she's just lying there quietly as if passed out. Well, that doesn't what little you've been able to learn about tasers, that doesn't match with what the effect, even if it was effective, should have been. So did he physically restrain her? Is he leaving that part out? Is he lying about the whole thing? How about the tape? I'll acknowledge that even if you've killed your mother by manual strangulation, you might bind her limbs to make carrying her away easier. But why, if she's dead from being killed with a bandana, would you tape her face, her nose and her mouth so securely that the medical examiner believes that was the cause of death? That doesn't add up at all. Nobody ever asked him the first question about that. The woman that you've gotten to know through the testimony, Marilyn Kananen, is not going to go out to a movie until 9:30 at night, the night before her last day at work, before she's going out of town. She's not going to ask the people she went out to dinner with in. She's not going to have a paper there to read. She's not going to have face cream out on the counter. She's not going to have a plugged-in coffee pot with coffee in it. Richard has gotten by with coming up with let's not forget that his sister clues him in. They don't have any plan. They never talk about it. They don't never have anything set in stone. He doesn't even really believe it's going to happen. Except you got a taser, and you got the storage unit, and you got the freezer. The only one of them acting like they knew anything was going to happen was certainly Richard. So then the clue is that his sister goes out to Fazoli's in the movies with their mother while wearing a taser in the back of her pants. I just refuse to talk about the garage sale. There are about 100 photos of about 8. Hundreds and hundreds of Disney paraphernalia, collectibles, porcelains, every kind of thing you can imagine in the photographs that have been given to us by Susan. They had absolutely no need to sell anything of Mom's. It's one thing to say that real life doesn't work like CSI. Absolutely agree. It's another to come in here and say, we know this might be a long shot because we did wait 4 years to allege this. And our star witness is a psychotic, murdering liar. But we've got some other stuff to show you that this is a person. Or to say, we might not have some other stuff to show you this is a person, but boy, did we try. There has been no evidence whatsoever that that body in that protected state, and frankly, the evidence was it wasn't a protected state. No bug activity. The ME talked about how the blood may have been starting to degrade, but there is DNA in every single living cell of the body. And the ends of that duct tape that had been torn off by the hands and fingers of Stacey Kananen, and they had sent that, any of those pieces, out for testing, and it had come back. Okay, this duct tape has Stacey Kananen's DNA on the ends of it. Then you have something. You have some science. You have something. The fingerprinting that was not done on the mother's car, would it have been a slam dunk that if Stacey's fingerprints happened to be on her mom's car? No. But it would have been some evidence. What if her prints had been on the back latch of the trunk? What if her prints had been on the driver's window where Richards claimed she was positioned? What if her prints had been on the bottles of cleaner inside? I want to make one comment about the two tape recordings you heard, both of which law enforcement could have watched over and over back in December of 2003 to decide whether or not there was enough evidence there, enough to take you beyond hunch, beyond suspicion, to reasonable doubt to arrest somebody. The information fed to Stacey Kananen during that first interview, both the stuff that was true and the stuff that wasn't true, clearly created in her a belief that her brother had gotten her into a very, very bad situation regarding mom's money. And clearly had her very concerned that they were both going to be in a lot of trouble because of what he'd done with mom's money and how she had benefited from it. They were putting those things two and two together for her pretty quickly. I think her reaction to when law enforcement talked beyond the money issues about her mother in that first interview, her reaction is shock. What are you talking about? Why did you say that? Horror and denial. She's not able to go there. And if you
Have a good night, Dodo. And if we don't see you before then, have a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, whatever it is that you are doing or celebrating or not celebrating. Sweet dreams. And take care.
Yeah. Night night, Dodo. Have a good holiday.
This one's going way faster.
Yeah, way, way faster. Way faster.
I only tuned out for a second, and that's just because I had to answer. I answered you, and then I had to answer Brie. So,
Okay.
but most of it I've heard, and it made more sense to me, and I didn't feel like I was being yelled at. So,
Nice.
all pluses in my book.
Yep.
Yeah, and you don't have your decorations up. What are you doing? At least that's how I read your you have Christmas decorations out comment. I'm like ready to take mine down. Yes, this is an hour-long complaining fest to the jury. You bet the prosecutor will be even more shrill in rebuttal. Well, we might be able to hear her, or at least my dogs might be. If she gets that shrill, then maybe they'll start barking and howling because they've been quiet tonight, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe she made their ears bleed. I kind of think she's definitely doing a better job. And I do like her way of saying none of this mattered when they didn't need it to matter, but now it all matters. And all in different ways. And just the opposite of how they wanted it to, hit for Richard. Now they need it to be, put Stacey away. They didn't care then. Or Susan. Like it's weird. Oh, if I did that, my daughter-in-law probably would have had a heart attack because she put herself up and it was maybe October. I was like, no way. That is not happening. I told her that some people don't even put their tree up until Christmas Eve, and she thought I was nuts. I said, well, then they leave it up till after the new year. Or in some cases, longer. Some people don't ever take them down anymore. I figured you were farther along, Haley. All right, back to Stacey.
You watched her demeanor in that secret tape. And I want to accentuate the judge's admonition to you that you use your ears and what you could actually discern and hear from that tape. Her demeanor is an abused, the adult who was an abused child going back to being an abused 12-year-old. They were prepared to have Stacey Kananen testify exactly as she testified today.
Objection. Ms. Dennis at this point is testifying the fact she would have no knowledge of.
I'll rephrase it.
Please do. I'll sustain the objection.
Everybody knew what Stacey Kananen's story was, and she was listed as a witness for the state of Florida and called at trial by them. Would have taken a stand and testified exactly as she did today.
Speculation, Your Honor.
They don't get it both ways either. They don't get to say she was good enough then to testify for us under oath. And instead today, we want you to convict her of murder based on the words of a proven liar, a proven killer, and someone who is psychotic. There are, I believe in this evidence, going to be reasonable questions left by Richard's uncorroborated, untested, unlikely, unbelievable version of events. I believe there's going to be reasonable questions regarding his credibility. I believe there's going to be reasonable questions regarding the holes in the evidence. The only evidence there is of when and where and how Richard Kananen. It's the only evidence of any of those vital things. I am not going to have an opportunity to get back up and and discuss whatever it is Ms. Wilkinson says to you next. I'm sure I've forgotten to think of lots of things I would like to tell you about what I think are the holes in this case and where the reasonable doubt can be found, whether that's in lack of evidence or conflict of evidence. I appreciate the time and the attention that you spent on this case, and so does Stacey. I trust when you get to the end of the day, you're going to find there's more than adequate reasonable doubt. And you're going to be left wondering what and why, because none of those answers have been given to you. Well, there is no reason that Stacey Kananen would have wanted her mother dead based on the history she had with her mother. There is no reason that Stacey Kananen would want her mother dead for the few $1,000s she ended up horribly benefiting from after her brother took their missing mother's money. The issue regarding the Brackens may well have been motivation for her to try to stick her nose in where it didn't belong, which she did, and got the result she would have expected. Certainly wasn't motive for murder. There was no evidence that anybody, including Marilyn, had determined they were going to get DCF involved or take the children away. None of the Brackens believed that. There was really no reason for anybody to believe that. Sometimes things don't make sense, as the state said, and I agree with you there. I agree with her there. There's a lot about this case that doesn't make sense. There's a lot of reasonable doubt. To treat Richard Kananen with what he has shown to be his lack of connection with reality on every level as somebody whose motives we can discern, there's no way. He works on a different level altogether. He did not try to protect his sister, Stacey. In fact, he dragged his sister, Stacey, into the middle of his thieving. As the cops told her, he manipulated and put her finger all over it. He put her name all over it. He got her very deeply entrenched in that. He wasn't trying to protect her. He wasn't trying to protect her when immediately upon getting arrested, he tells everybody she did it. He got to be the middle of maybe one of the next chapters of his dramatic tale by coming in here, being the good guy. I killed your grandmother, but I get to go in and do what you want me to do, say what you want me to say. I get to be a hero in that way. There's never going to be any understanding the motivations of somebody who's as sick as Richard Kananen. And ultimately, I don't believe you're going to think that you know what happened. And I believe you're going to come away with this with many, many reasonable doubts. And given that all it takes is one, and the law requires you to come back with a not guilty verdict, I believe that's what you'll do. Thank you.
Oh, you guys already saw her. She's ready to go. Dang it. And she's not going to stay by the mic again. And we don't have closed captionings for her. Why do they do this to us? Thanks, Haley. Yeah, it sucks. I won't lie. It's something you can't explain to anybody. Alrighty, here we go. Don't worry, this says it's 44 minutes, but we are only watching 29 minutes of it. And then we will do the verdict. So when this is over, I'm closing the poll. You heard it here first. I am closing the poll.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Because Stacey Kananen was not arrested back in December of 2003 doesn't make her not guilty. In fact, Detective Hussey saw her and told her that there was no statute of limitations for the murder. And Detective Hussey let her know that he would keep investigating, that he would come forward, and she would be prosecuted. And she has been. And as the defense is saying, the only thing that changed was Richard. Well, how about Tom Bastard and the handwriting analysis? Are we just going to forget that happened? She asked him about when he started looking in this case. You know it was after Stacey was arrested. So we're just going to forget that part? That Stacey had admitted to the note that she wrote Susan in the motion to suppress in her brother's case. But what we also know is that Stacey went to the deposition and lied about the check and said she didn't sign it. And you know from the witness stand that she went back and forth today on whether or not she really didn't sign it. Might have, probably did. Well, yeah, I guess I did cash it for check. So there's more than just Richard. But ladies and gentlemen, should the state just choose to go after one person who committed a murder when we can develop evidence and show you that it's the two of them acting together? And when you talk about the evidence, remember that what the lawyers say is not evidence. Because you just heard Ms. Tennis keep saying, psychotic, psychotic, psychotic. Is that what Dr. Mings testified to? This person with some psychotic features. He did not testify that he was psychotic. So you can say it over and over again. It doesn't make it true. And why is that? Trying to mislead you from what Richard says that is backed up by the evidence. Stacey would like you to believe that she just happened to stop by the house one day and Richard was installing his flooring and maybe she chose colored in. But when you heard from Mr. Fonzo, who doesn't really know either one of them, she came into his shop. She's right there. They're getting flooring to put in Mom's house that she believes Mom's missing. And she's there when the people come out to install the flooring. It's her truck that's parked out there, the electric blue. And Stacey will tell you, oh no, I never went into the house, but the evidence shows from Betty Kelly, she saw her walking down the street all the time without her brother going in her mother's house. And what did Richard tell you? Yeah, Stacey and I were both in there. Stacey and I both had keys. Stacey tells you I didn't, but how's she getting in that house without her brother? Her sister Cheryl's got to have her brother, got to have her husband jump the back fence. We've heard you say that it's only a few $1,000s. Miss Tennis's math has got to be a little bit off because I've never quite heard of few when you get $2,500 in a check and you get $6,000 or $7,000 from your brother and there's $5,000 to pay off your partner's and wife's car. That's not a few $1,000s. That's a lot more than a few. And a lot more that if she was the good daughter who was so distraught, she'd be concerned. Then you heard that if the taser had really hit her, Marilyn Kananen, she'd be dead.
Objection, totally misstating the argument.
The jury can remember from their best memory as to what the argument was.
The use of the taser is not to kill someone. It usually is to temporarily stun them. On a very rare circumstance, the person's heart may react in a certain way, is what we heard from Dr. Irving. Remember, his body is being moved time and time again. And Dr. Irving did not tell you that the duct tape is how Marilyn Kananen died. She told you that Marilyn Kananen, based on her autopsy, there was asphyxiation. She told you that that can either be caused by pressure on the neck, preventing the blood from going to the brain, which would have taken longer, or covering the nose and the mouth, and it was never said it had to be the duct tape. Do we know the duct tape was on there? Yes. Could you even tell how long it had been on there to cause flattened features? No, because Marilyn's body was in such a state of decomposition. That's what the evidence is. And I asked her, would it be consistent with someone holding their hand over the nose and mouth, as in Richard Kananen told me? And she said yes.
very consistent with what she saw. That's what the testimony and that's what the evidence is. The state has the burden of proof in this case. But what the defense just told you is, okay, if we put up a witness and you decided you wanted to buy what they have to say, perhaps Professor Jimbo, who rattled on, but has no expertise.
Judge, I would object and ask to approach.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you're to disregard that last remark about Mr. Bimbo, or whatever his name was, the handwriting analyst for the defense. I really do not remember his name.
Did she call him Bimbo?
Did she?
I think that's
Did
why
she call
she
him-
objected. Instead of Denbo, I think she called him Bimbo.
Objection, Judge Bimbo.
That's why she was like, no. Like,
Put her hand on her hip and stomped her little foot.
I know. I think because the Dimbo was the defense expert that we didn't get to hear because we couldn't hear him for the handwriting.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, that was. I don't want to imagine being married to her. You would be in court
Hilarious.
crime charges before you knew it. Ooh-wee. Hi. Yeah, he must have agreed. And then he's like, I don't remember his name either, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't Bimbo. Just say, Judge. That would have been funny. Hear that court reporter giving her some side eye. She's like, whoo-wee. Ding
Well,
dong.
goddamn.
She's mafia.
Ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, the witch is dead.
I mean, I know the mafia doesn't exist, but I've heard stories.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a unicorn. Can't prove it one way or another.
that's very true. That's very true. You can't.
All right, let's see what else this thing has ready for us now. Also,
All
not
right.
a hair. I'm convinced even more that it's
Yep.
her face. It's just her face.
It's her face.
Oh, she has, gosh dang, about 23 minutes of yelling at the jury. Telling them how wrong they are for listening to the defense. All right, here we go. Plug your ears, folks. Hold your ears, folks. Whatever that line is.
Jimbo, sorry,
It's all right.
rather than Bimbo.
It's all right.
Anyway,
I think I made that mistake.
Mr. Dimbo, please disregard the remark made about him. That it was not proper to be made. All right, go ahead.
You heard Mr. Dimmo's testimony. You heard him as a professor of law. You heard he practices as a lawyer. And he came in to talk to you about the potential. Has no experience in forensic handwriting. Read a couple of textbooks and did a little study with a little group in his class. You also heard that forensic handwriting has been invented in the court since the 1880s. It's been used in several different disciplines, real estate, along with criminal law, civil law, and deeds. And what, ladies and gentlemen, it's up to you to determine whether or not someone was an expert. Clearly, Mr. Bassett was tendered as an expert, has worked in his field for over 30 years, he's worked at the U.S. Postal Service, and went through those charts. And remember, those charts are different than what Ms. Dennis is talking about when keywords were doing the evidence. Those charts, you actually scan the image from the known samples of Richard and the known samples of Stacey, and showed you a small amount of letters and we made a comparison. And then after we get through all this, Stacey takes the stand as a local letter student. We've already gone through the check, if she did or didn't write it. Finally came out, she probably did. She made the flyer, which he wouldn't, Mr. Bassett wouldn't even say. And then the issue is the letter to Cheryl. What we still have to talk about is that Richard said when he wrote this note to Cheryl, he wrote it in the truck. Not sometime before, he wrote it in the truck. Then he wrote it to Cheryl, and when he wrote it, it was blank.
Do you really think that lo and behold, he's looking through this notebook and somehow Stacey wrote this note back a month or so earlier when this letter came from Cheryl? And Richard just happened to come upon that page? It just doesn't make sense. He told you the page was blank. He's not sure when she wrote it. He's more focused on, he wrote a letter to his native son. He wrote a letter to his wife Mary. He wrote this note to Cheryl. People that he cared about. His wife, Cheryl, and then basically law enforcement if they wear his mother's logo. The defense would like you to believe that if Stacey wrote that note, that it was written earlier, but what did Stacey and Susan tell you? She was not going to confront anyone. She wasn't going to call Cheryl. She wasn't going to write a note. And so that makes the note written in that truck as she's trying to kill herself. She's trying to tell Cheryl, I'm sorry. We've heard a lot about the fact that Stacey Kananen was listed as a witness in Richard Kananen's trial. Stacey going to testify? The trial never happened because Richard Kananen came into the courtroom and took responsibility for the murder of his mother. Ladies and gentlemen, the state doesn't get a pick for witnesses in a murder. We take the people who know about something. And what that jury instruction will tell you is that each and every witness in a case, whether they testify for the state or whether they testify for the defense, you can believe all of, none of, or some of their testimonies. That you should look to see how it matches the other evidence in this case. The fact that the defense has chosen to have witnesses in this case, they testify, including the defendant. You have to look at it. It's not shifting the burden. The state still has the burden of proof in this case. But once Stacey Kananen testified, you have to treat her testimony like any other witness. You can believe all of, some of, or none of. You can look at the fact that Mr. Bastrop has a long-time experience in his field. You can look at the fact that Professor Dimbo is way outside of his. That he's a lawyer. He's read some textbooks. Going at a few studies and not any significant numbers at all. You can look at the fact that Professor Dimbo did not have expertise in this. You can look at Susan Cowan's testimony and look at her motive in this case and her love for Stacey. You've heard from the defense a comparison of how much time Richard had to write notes compared to Stacey because Stacey's so much smaller. But you also heard Stacey say she opened the door. Stacey was aware outside to hear someone say for the cameras to go away and be out in the ambulance and have someone talk to her. You don't get it both ways. Because remember, they're being followed. We're not talking about they're in this unit for an hour or so.
Objection, Judge, that's contra, absolutely, the evidence in this case.
Well, the jury can remember the evidence as best they can from what they've heard.
Exactly.
They're being followed. Your Honor, I would object to Ms. Dennis's comments after a ruling.
I didn't hear what you said.
I did.
Okay. Go ahead.
They were being followed. They were briefly lost. They went to the storage unit. How long could they have been in there? Stacey Kananen cut off the truck and then went to the unit. It's not as bad off as they say. She's being held in the hospital. They actually transferred her for one because she's been suicidal.
Objection, facts not in evidence.
Overruled.
Detective Hussey talked to you about the tasers and said there are different tasers that have the same type cartridges. And in fact, Richard Kananen's testimony, what he said is that the taser was not exactly like the one Ms. Tennis introduced. But they all shoot out darts. So you have to look at the evidence and you have to look at what matches the evidence in this case and the testimony.
Ms. Tennis has talked to you a lot about supposedly the lies of Richard. Are you just supposed to forget the fact that Stacey admitted to going into a deposition and saying that wasn't my signature when it was on a check? Are you supposed to forget about the fact that you sat and played stupid detectives? That you mentioned in the FOIA account, but didn't tell them SunTrust, and don't say she just forgot it because moments later, she's talking to her brother about it. And she keeps telling her brother, I played stupid. When he asked her what she said, I don't know, I know nothing, I know nothing, I know nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, perhaps as you go home, when all this is over, you would think, you know what, they should have arrested her back then. They should have arrested her at the exact same time as Richard. That is not your question to decide today. Your question to decide is plain and simple. Was Stacey Kananen involved in the murder of her mother with her brother? Was she a principal in this crime? Did she intend for this murder to happen, and did she actively participate? That's the question to decide. And when you look at this and you remember that in between Richard coming forward, when he had nothing to gain anymore, what does Richard Kananen gain? The defense would like to believe he's so mad at Stacey, that's why he's pointing the finger at her. But the driving force behind the investigation and prosecution of Richard is in the audience. Detective Oxley and Cheryl Bracken. That's what Stacey. And remember what the detective said to Stacey at the end of the interview. You're either going to be a co-defendant or a witness. At first she said, I don't want to be either one, and then she said, I'd much rather be a witness. Stacey thought that her brother would continue to protect her. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be no instruction, as we told you on jury selection, that there must be some type of DNA or fingerprints to corroborate this case. And the defense keeps telling you there has to be DNA there.
Judge, I would object as a mischaracterization and continued characterization of my argument.
I'm going to overrule your objection. The jury can remember the argument as best they can.
When you look at it, like Vincent told you, I looked at the duct tape. I processed it in several ways for fingerprints. I was unable to develop any. I wasn't really surprised because of the condition of the duct tape. You heard from Dr. Irving, you heard from obviously Michael Vincent, who's had work in recovering bodies. Dr. Irving, who's a medical student, as the body decomposes, fluids leak from everywhere. Those fluids would be on the tape and on everywhere the tape was. The hands, the feet, the mouth, the nose. And that based on the condition of the duct tape, it was not submitted. And this is a reasonable doubt. Not when you look at all of the statements and all of the things that Stacey said and the corroboration of Richard and the fact that Tom Bastrick, a person with over 30 years experience, tells you that she wrote that note. And the fact that Richard tells you that the paper was blank when he wrote the note to Cheryl, and he wrote the note to Cheryl in the truck. And when you look at it, and it makes common sense that if she would have written this note to Cheryl earlier, why is it in the middle of the page? Does that make any sense? Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, take your common sense back there. Did Richard have a horrible childhood? Yeah. Is that not the great recipe to make somebody grow up and be a wonderful person? Is the fact that Richard's a murderer? Sure. Has he done some lies before? Yes, but so has Stacey. She sat and lied to you. She answered some things differently on direct and cross. Stacey's words, we're going to jail. In fact, when she first sits down, she does this movement, we're going to jail. And she still lies whispering. In fact, isn't that the interesting thing? She's supposedly the weak one, and he's the mastermind who's planned all this. But she's the one who knows to say nothing in this interview. She's the one who knows to play stupid. She's the one who reminds her brother, you know, I didn't sign for Goldenrod Street. I signed for the other time.
Objection, mischaracterization of the evidence.
Well, her brother, I didn't mind for that. And then she said to her brother twice, are they gonna take my truck? She says to her brother, I played stupid. She says to her brother, am I gonna have to give him the money from Bank of America? But she wants you to believe she didn't know anything about the money and she didn't know anything about mom. When they tell her that they're gonna dig up mom's house, look, you can look at that tape again. Look at her reaction of what she says. You going to my house? And why would Stacey Kananen be concerned that they were going to her house? They said that they started digging, they were going to find mom. She wants you to believe that in that backyard, she went there every day Susan was gone and had no idea that anything happened. 3-foot deep grave with 4 inches. And then you heard, well, the detectives are saying that Richard manipulated you. You heard from Corporal Ruggiero, it's an interview technique. Before that interview, Stacey Kananen was a suspect. After that interview, Stacey Kananen was a suspect. After her brother was arrested, she was a suspect. Detective Hussey told her there is no statute of limitations. I'm going to show it one day. Ladies and gentlemen, that day is today. The fact that Stacey Kananen was ever put on a witness list and came in and testified in a motion to suppress about the suicide attempt doesn't mean we have to buy her story. And it doesn't mean we have to believe everything she said on the witness stand today. Ladies and gentlemen, you use your common sense and you look at how Stacey's story changes from when she's playing stupid with the detectives to when she's talking to her partner in crime and when she's on the stand protecting herself. And when you talk and look at that tape, she clearly thought, okay, my brother's going to commit suicide, he'll leave a note, but he'll still come after me. The one thing that changed, May 1st, 2007, Richard Kananen stopped protecting her. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard has these issues. But when you look at the evidence and you look at what Stacey had to say, and you look at what she did, and you look at the fact that there's no reason for the neighbors to come in and say on the road that she went in that house, except for seeing her, that there was no problem between Betty Kelly and her, that Betty Kelly actually brought someone over to cover up the grave. Ladies and gentlemen, you look at all of that. It isn't just on Richard's word. You look at all the evidence put together, and it shows that Stacey Kananen, as the detectives told her, was in cahoots with her brother. Ladies and gentlemen, you may find when you go back there that Marilyn Kananen was not the mother of the year. You may find that she lived a sad and horrible life during the years she was with her husband, or perhaps she'd done more to protect her kids. But it doesn't give anyone a right to take her life. And it doesn't take from planning and discussions and going out and getting a taser and putting it in the back of your pants and playing with your brother. It doesn't take it from a first-degree murder to second-degree assault. There's better evidence of premeditation that shows in this case. Ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of reasons Stacey Kananen killed her mother. Greed. She wanted to protect Christopher and Cheryl. And years of resentment for what happened to her. Ladies and gentlemen, you look at all of that. You look at the evidence in this case, the evidence that came from the witness stand, and not possibly or maybe. Not the night cream is out and coffee pot was on. What does that tell you? Out of Richard and Stacey, who do you think knew her mother's habits the most? Stacey Kananen. Does it take a lot when you're planning to use a taser and suffocate your mother and duct tape her up? You go in there and lay out the will of the leg? Does it mean that one morning perhaps Miss Kananen got up a little bit late? Ladies and gentlemen,
When you've got Stacey Kananen telling the detectives, I called up my mother on Tuesday and asked her to go out for dinner and a movie, that they don't ever go out during the week, that if she did it, she's telling the detectives I did it on Tuesday, but the defense wants you to believe, there's just no way they would have done that on Wednesday night because you're not going to work. Those are the things, use your common sense. Stacey told you in that interview. She was going out with her mom every week and a half, 2 weeks. Is the evidence in this case. It clearly shows that Richard Kananen is not out there. This isn't some delusion. That he's told people after he was arrested, Stacey did it. That he told Dr. Mings, Stacey was involved with me. That Stacey-
Objection. Judge, it's a total misstatement of the evidence.
I'm going to let the jury rely on what they've heard. They can rely on their own best memory of the evidence overall.
Stacey shot my mother and I duct taped her, and the tasers are done in a shot motion. And then each time he would see them after that, would consistently talk about, I want to tell my story, and Stacey was involved. We're only consistent with his testimony here. And when you talk about what Richard had to gain, it wasn't Stacey did all this on her own, or Stacey did this and I just helped her clean up. He got on the witness stand and said, I smothered my mother. But after Stacey tased her. That reigns true. So what are you really gaining out of taking the responsibility for the murder and taking a plea to 30 years? And when one of the reasons you pled is that your sister Cheryl and Christopher don't have to go through a trial, but you give up your sister, you finally stop protecting her, and the trial happens. Ladies and gentlemen, what Richard says is backed by Stacey's actions and Stacey's words. And the handwriting analysis shows that Stacey wrote those notes. And no matter how Ms. Kananen tries to explain them today, we had something to do with mother leaving is not Richard killed my mother and it's our fault for inviting him in the house. And Cheryl, I'm sorry she was going to take your kids is a flat out apology to your sister for killing your mother. Ladies and gentlemen, based on the evidence and the statements of Stacey and the testimony of Richard, you should hold her responsible for the highest crime charged, because this is clearly one thing and one thing alone. This is a first-degree murder.
Jose, go.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but laughing my friggin' ass off. The court reporter's face at the end there, through like underneath the light. I mean, she's looking at her, but she's looking at her with that red emoji's face. She's like, really, Bash? Really? She's like, I'm so sick and tired of you.
Yep. You know what she reminded me of, Snipe? Me trying to end a stream.
Yeah.
You
It's
keep
like,
thinking
okay,
it's going to happen, and then it doesn't.
Yeah. Someone says something else, you look at the chat, and you're like, oh yeah, remember that from like 24 million months ago? Remember that? That was hilarious. Oh yeah. 20 minutes goes by, you're like, oh yeah, I was supposed to end this already.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, she's me trying to end a stream. She sucks at it just as bad. All right, I'm ending the poll.
All right, end it. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we got 61% not guilty, 29% not sure, and 10% guilty.
Interesting.
And, yes, that is me ending a stream. Squirrel.
Yeah. Basically, sometimes I call squirrels, I'm like, squale, you know, a little fancier name than squirrel, just squale.
Yes, landing the plane can be hard sometimes, like Gabby saying goodnight.
Yeah, that's very true, Idol.
Landing the plane's the hardest part. It is.
It is.
I tried
Especially
to
if you've never
do it.
flown one before.
What I think she is, and what I think she is, and what she will be are two different things.
Hmm.
All right, let me gift these last 5 memberships that I have before I forget.
All right.
Here we go.
Do it up.
Oh, spinning circle.
Oh, Shinny got one.
That one. And Hannah Banana, plant fan,
Plant.
out and about,
That's a
die. And Sarah Lurch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Congratulations.
I'll just say Hannah Banana is a great YouTube name.
It is, and it's Hannah Banana.
Yeah, Hannah Banana.
I love it. All right, let me grab the verdict.
Hannah Banana 801. Great. I love it. That's awesome that Shinny got one.
Yeah.
She's like, what did I get? You got a
What'd I
gifted
get?
membership.
Oh, we got closed captionings again.
Oh, nice. That's choice.
You know, it's always when she's not speaking.
Yeah. Cheese.
We enjoy. I appreciate you, Frank, and your chinchilla.
Yeah, you know.
And the fact that you got me.
No, seriously. I mean, I was skeptical at first. Like I said, I mean, I thought it was Let's Go. I was like, meh, Let's Go. It's definitely not Flash Fan. There's no food in the name.
Yeah. But I was like, Flash Fan? And I was like, no, it's not Flash Fan. If I went through it too in my mind, you got me, Frank. I about called you Let's Go. We enjoyed the stream, so it's only natural to squirrel and pull a Gabby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got the verdict right here.
Oh, yeah. Right now. This is the end of the trial right here.
Coming up. This is it. I did it, Shinny.
You're so nervous. Aw, Deidre. It's all right. They're there.
There, you'll be okay in a minute. I did it. Shinny, I get 10 a month to give away. So I held on to them so I could do them today.
And drum roll.
You're back. Did I miss the verdict? Getting ready to do it right now, Flash Fan.
Verdict coming up.
Don't tell her what to do. Let's go.
Yeah, don't tell me how to live my life. Let's go. Jeez. Unbelievable. I mean, if you don't know that already, get bent.
I figured that was going to be the go-to.
I mean, that's the second time this week I've told you to get bent. So, third time, you better watch out.
I don't know what happens. You might turn into something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not pretty. Let me tell you. It's not like Beetlejuice, but something else.
You're welcome, Shinny. They go, just so nobody thinks I picked Shinny over anybody else. I don't have any control. So just go where they go. But you're welcome. Is there a Gabby Get Bent shirt?
No, but there definitely should be. Oh my God. Why isn't that a thing? I feel like that should be a thing.
We have so many things that need to be the thing.
We do, man. We got to sit down and do that because that's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Here we go. Verdict.
Be seated.
All right, Mr. Foreman, it's my understanding you've reached a verdict in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, would you make sure the verdict form is signed and dated, please?
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
there's only one check mark on it.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, fold it over and hand it to the court deputy, please.
I'm sorry, the woman behind her. She had a napkin above her nose.
You'll publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the 9th Judicial Circuit in and for Orange County, Florida, case number 48-2007-CF-6901-0 for Orange County. State of Florida versus Stacey Kananen. Verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. So say we all this 12th day of March 2010 at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, signed by the foreperson.
Do you want to pull the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Pull the jury, please.
I'm going to call you by your badge number. Juror 158, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Juror 437, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes,
Juror
ma'am.
115, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror 358, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Juror 329, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror 497, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Juror 252, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Juror 24, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Juror 42, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Juror 1, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror 241, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror 239, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Kananen, jury of your peers has found you not guilty. At this time, I'm going to adjudicate you not guilty. You're released from all your bonds. Do you have a monitor on your ankle?
Yes, I do,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
that'll be removed. Can you remove that this evening?
Yes, I can remove it now.
All right, and if you want to wait for your paperwork, you can. If not, you're free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I wish to thank you for your time and consideration of this case. I also want to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you're at liberty to speak with anyone about your deliberations, you're also at liberty to refuse to speak to anyone. A request to discuss either your verdict or your deliberations may come from those who are simply curious, from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, from attorneys, or elsewhere. It will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as jurors. If you'll step back into the jury room, I'll be back there with your certificates of service in just a moment, and then you'll be free to go. Thank you, folks.
Don't be jealous, Snipe. They get certificates too.
Oh, bad dad. Well, Susan has a face to sit on tonight. Oh my god, that was hilarious. Bravo, Bad D. Bravo.
Yes, not guilty, Shenny.
Yeah.
Look at those bitches in the back row. Her sister and her little friends over there were not happy.
Yeah, they were
So-
not. Yeah.
I mean, Lady in the Blue was like, "Get away from my camera." But I didn't know. You never know, like, how these are gonna go.
The
I didn't-
bistro.
The bistro.
It totally was. It was. Oh
I
my
didn't
God.
think I didn't think it was proven beyond a reasonable doubt. I was stuck with the car thing, but I think there was probably a lot in the testimony with the other handwriting person who we couldn't, because we couldn't hear him, so we didn't get to hear him.
But also,
that
he
maybe-
was debunked in this trial, so.
I mean,
I mean-
both of them, but
But I think, like, for me, like, seeing her on the stand and, like, hearing her testimony within itself, like, that's what really, like, kind of changed my mind about her. Because you got to see her reactions to things throughout the
Right.
trial, right? But, like,
Mhm.
you never really got to, like, hear her voice or how she was actually feeling or whatever.
right.
And just hearing her on the stand for me was like, oh, all right, okay. I mean, that made a big difference for me.
I agree.
Yeah.
One thing I do know, Susan and Stacey are still together, still visiting both Disneys, and are living their best lives. I'm not sure why, but it makes me happy to know that. I'm glad.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
the gym teacher row won and the RBF row lost.
after the jury came back, they blew their whistle, and then like the ref came in and was like, "And safe."
Yeah, I hope he handed him a bunch of dodgeballs to throw at him. Like, here you go, gym teachers. Have at it.
Yeah.
They deserve
And
it.
then they all turn around. The bailiff's still friggin' sleeping in the corner in his little chair. Dead asleep. He's just snoring in the corner.
Oh my gosh. Oh, my stomach.
The judge is now pigging out on, like, I don't know, cheesecake or
KFC.
something.
It's KFC. Finger looking good.
It's something.
Now you ladies need to read her book to us. Are you trying to make my channel go away?
We can make that like a weekly, nightly thing, like where it's like Saturday nights. Saturday night, like Stacey Kananen's book reading. It's just like Carmen comes on. She's like has like a pretend like corncob pipe, like wearing like a robe, sitting in like a Victorian chair. She like opens a book. It's not the book, but she opens a book to make it seem like a thing, you know?
I'm not hungry, Flashman. It's actually because I had dinner. It does this to me every day. People think I'm hungry. I'm like, I just ate.
No, you just Crohn's. That's all.
It's just that.
Yeah.
As a Christmas gift, AJ is going to go right over to a new trial. No, he is not going to do
negative.
that. Negative.
Absolutely not.
Oh, bad Dazzer.
What do you say?
Stacey's tongue wagging in that town.
Oh, it definitely wasn't.
No. And she steeples her fingers. Well, after Bad Dazzer's comment, and then I read yours, I don't know.
Ew.
Carmen can illustrate while it's read. Oh, no.
Frank, dang, I'm unsubscribing.
The gap in lawyering was huge in this case. I agree. And I wasn't really like, when Miss Tennis started, I was not a huge fan of either one of them. But as it went on, she did outlawyer her. Because I thought Miss Tennis seemed kind of, I don't say goofy, but when she didn't know some of the things and the judge seemed to have to kind of tell her things, like what hearsay is, or,
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. You don't even know what that means, so calm down. All right?
Do I have to look that up, Let's Go? Or can
No,
I
don't look
add
it up.
to the list? But you're supposed to be helping me get together, Let's Go. Remember? I think I probably got most of them because you've not been helping me, but it's okay.
Robin, she was relatable.
So we got a Boston Hot Pocket now. That go with the Alabama Hot Pocket?
Absolutely not.
I wrote Hawk Pocket. HOCK.
I mean, anything's possible. At this point, anything is possible.
We cannot address subject matter jurisdiction. Where are you little stink bugs coming from?
Oh my god, you got another one in there?
Oh my gosh, they're everywhere because it warmed up.
Oh, right.
Buggers been like around me all night, and they keep
put some sticky traps. Yes, snipe Hoptua. Exactly.
Okay, so somebody asked what the next trial is. As long as the audio is okay, Frank, you asked for it. I'm going to. Sorry, we got sidetracked.
It's gonna be a good one
tomorrow, boss. You better. I do not collect stink bugs. See, this is squirrel.
Squale.
It is the one that you asked about, Frank. What is her name? I can never remember her name. It's another Florida crazy lady, but unlike the last two, where we have all had to sit and wonder, like, we've all talked about guilt or innocence and did they prove it or not prove it. We won't have to wonder that. This will be a sit back. Just sit back and enjoy it, okay?
Yeah, this one's gonna be good, I think.
Uh,
It seems very interesting.
I gotta find. I have it saved. I don't need that obituary because I don't know who that is.
Frank says,
Does he have the name?
oh, really? Wow. I knew I was important. Thank you.
That would be it. That's it. Dahlia DiPolito. Dahlia DiPolito. It's a crazy, crazy case.
Yeah.
But you won't have to wonder about her guilt or innocence. There will be no worries there.
No, we've had enough of Boone, Robin. Thank you.
Yeah, no Boone. No. Not Boone. Nope. Stacey also did great on the stand. Sitting at the defense table, she looked weird and guilty. But on the stand, she was likable and credible. I agree with that.
Yes. Yeah,
And
that's what I mean.
we all judged her immediately.
Oh,
right off
for
her,
sure.
all of
100%. 100%. I mean, I judge myself every day when I wake up. I'm like, you look like a rat's nest homeless person. Let's get at the day, you know? But yeah, I mean, once you heard her on stand, you know, it was a completely different story.
Yep. I'm not trying to force you to get me kicked off the interwebs.
No, absolutely
I
not.
could do that myself. I'm glad you approved, Ronnie. Yay! You're a totally cis female, but I'd let Smiley eat crackers in my bed. What the heck is a stink bug? It is an invasive species that needs to go
Yeah.
away.
I'll send you a picture of what it looks like here, Haley.
And they are horrible.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't like, you know, I don't think they bite you or sting you or anything. They're just a nuisance, basically. You know, they're not like I'm, you know, gonna poison you or whatever, but they're just a nuisance kind of a bug.
They are just awful. I've heard they taste like bananas, and I don't know who found that out.
I feel like that's something Flash fan probably would have known.
Because like Rue will eat them, and she doesn't spit them out. So I'm like, maybe they do taste like bananas. But I'm not gonna try one.
I feel like Rue is just like Carmen. She's like, "Oh, this thing is moving. I don't know if it's poisonous or not. Let me eat it."
You have no idea. No idea.
Carmen's like, "Gabby, look at this thing," and I was like, "I don't know. That has spikes on it. I wouldn't touch it." She's like, "No, I'm gonna touch it." I'm like, "Don't touch
I
it."
gotta touch it. I gotta touch it. That's Carmen.
Yeah.
And Rue's like,
I gotta touch it.
if you touch it, I'll touch it.
Yeah.
We don't know why
Caleb's
profile
face.
pic is two midriffs.
We don't know. It's, you know what?
Nope.
Lesko is Lesko. You just can't change him. It's fine.
Hey, it's better than the tombstone.
That's very true.
I'll take
Very
it.
true.
I got a stinky bag too, and you think I need to take a shower? I don't.
What the hell? That was good. That was good.
I never delete them. I always throw them away or take them and like put them outside because I don't want the smell.
Well, because you know what? They're not like, they're just like super annoying.
They're
You know,
very
just
annoying.
randomly find them like, oh, there's one on my cabinet. You
And
could
they fly.
literally just like flat it, like swat it into like a can and chuck it outside. It would still live. It would just be completely fine.
Yep. I haven't watched anything on it, John. I heard it on a podcast a few years ago,
I haven't heard anything about this except for whatever Frank had said.
And it was like a crazy story.
Yeah, it seems crazy.
So, and I can't remember. I think that podcast is like case files or something.
I don't know.
The host is Casey. Get it?
Casey Kasem.
So, but they kind of cover, I think, the more like important parts of it and not all of it. But this one's going to take us a while to get through. I'm just warning you now.
Yeah.
It'll be a longer one.
It sounds really interesting. I'm glad Frank had suggested it because it sounds really awesome.
I had to ask you about a case later, maybe in 2 months. All right, don't forget. Flashman, 2 months from now, the end of February.
Mark it on your calendar.
You better ask me a question.
I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna mark it on my calendar now and be like, so Flashman, remember from like 2 months from now, you said you had to ask AJ a question about a case?
Yep. Oh, that's just me and my uncle. It's headless because he lost his mind when he stroked out on Friday. Let's go.
Let's go. Get bent. Get bent.
That's actually did happen.
Get out of here. Really?
Yeah.
Why does he put it like that? He makes it seem like it's a joke. Come on, let's go.
He did. It actually happened.
That's terrible. Why would you do that?
Yeah. It's like, this sucks. But,
yeah, I would say.
Yeah, he's dead.
Well, you know what? Too bad you don't have brownies with you and you didn't just skip away. Jesus friggin' Lord Christ.
I don't know if he was here. I don't know if he was here for that story.
I don't know if he was, but I just felt like I was just brownied. That's what that's going to mean from now. You were just brownied.
The next trial will have better hair than this one. All right.
I hope so.
It's a good picture. We won the golf tournament. Well, good job. Are you purposely not showing your... Okay, so you purposely have it like that then, because you're not showing
he
yourself.
has it like... Yeah,
Got it.
He has it like that on purpose.
Got it.
Their stomachs and their crotches.
Got it. Well, I get it now.
Let's go.
Yeah, he's not... He doesn't want to show himself. So he's also headless. But he didn't stroke out, which is good. Okay, you know what? Here, I'm just going to make this announcement right now. Nobody else dies.
Exactly.
And
yep, this isn't going to happen until at least a week past the new year.
Yeah, like that's
till
it.
We get back and, we're ready to go. No one does anything.
Like, nobody else die. And
stop breathing, stop blinking, no one move, no one do anything. All right?
And your sister called my dad dying beefing it on his hog. Some people do. Well, that's because Jessica, my neighbor came over tonight, like right before I started streaming to drop off. She always comes over every year and she gives us like Christmas goodies, and she just nonchalantly was like, yeah, Larry died. Like, it was like, it's Tuesday. And it was so weird. Oh, and by the way, the brownies are still warm, so you should have one now.
And then
like,
but I mean, your husband's response was priceless.
Yeah,
I don't want to disappoint her.
Yeah, I'm not going to disappoint her. I'm having a brownie, and he did.
Mr. Hamp, rock on.
Let's refrain from bowl haircuts for a while.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Hashtag for real.
Hey, your uncle's going to have to pull through a little bit longer. Because we have declared it, so.
Yeah.
Don't put too much pressure on you. Well, sorry. Yes, keep him plugged in. Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, everybody's nice. Let's go. AJ has a husband. Frank, I don't even know. It's
Subscribe for the second time. Yeah, his name's Mr. Hamp. Jeez, where the heck have you been?
No, he had cancer, and it was quick because she said 6 weeks ago he was at work, and I don't know when he died. Like, I saw her
When
a
was the
couple
last time you
weeks
saw
ago.
him?
I saw him probably about 6 weeks ago because they were closing down
It's definitely
their
before the brownies.
like they were closing down their pool the same time we were closing down ours for the season because we had
Right.
to wait till it gets down to a certain temperature, like steady.
Right.
And so we did that about the same time, and that's the last one, probably the last time I saw him. Generally would walk their dog by the fence that separates our properties because they used to have Great Danes, so they like to mine always go running out when they see them. And so he would always walk the dog up by the fence so he could watch my dogs. And the dogs have still been barking at the same time every morning, so I just assumed he was out there. I have no idea. Yeah, Shinny, like I hope that is not the case, that I was not like calling her or texting her, hey, I have a package down at the side of the road. He's not in a suitcase that I know of. Stop it. So, are the lambs still screaming? Let's go. If I have nightmares tonight, it's your fault. Blaming you. Okay, so my plan is I won't be here tomorrow. I'm so behind on everything because I got very sidetracked by other matters today that there is going to be nothing ready for Christmas if I don't get on it tomorrow. I don't have a single gift wrapped. I have not even started baking anything. And I should be done, let alone clean my house. So, not streaming tomorrow, obviously Wednesday, Thursday, and I don't stream on Fridays. I'm going to try to do something on Monday or Tuesday before New Year's, and it'll just be whatever. Just maybe we'll just hang out, and hopefully Gabby will be able to join us. Maybe Carmen.
Wait,
And,
what's Monday? What's the date?
I don't
Do
know.
we know? Let me look at the calendar. Hold on. I don't know.
The
either.
29th.
Is it? Oh yeah, Monday.
So either the 29th or 30th.
Okay.
So it'll probably be a very kind of last minute decision. So we'll let you know.
Yeah,
how
I'll post
all of our
it in
days are
Discord.
going. Also in Discord, if you didn't see it, StreamYard was quite nice and created some shorts out of the last video. I posted them in Discord because I don't know if the Rocky Mountain Oyster one, I think YouTube might take it down.
Well, I mean, you never know, but
I don't know because I say balls a lot.
yeah, so don't I
Yes.
on a daily. So
But I
in
know,
real
but
life,
it's all like combined down in that video it's just balls and lots of balls. Like
right? You're correct.
So I don't know if I'm brave enough to post it on YouTube.
Well, maybe
Mostly-
like one of them. Maybe one. Try one out and see how it goes.
I just am like, I don't need anybody to come and tell me that cows don't have balls. I got it. And Snipe straightened it out anyway. But and then the other one was my pencil lead that grew. And no one
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It's like They won't. They are real things. Steer ballas.
Oh
Ronnie,
yeah, and,
I
what-
appreciate that, but we would get nothing done because we would all be talking. You know it.
we'd be your little elves and help you get ready. Yeah,
Yeah, we would be like sitting around just talking.
yeah, for sure. We're also going to be on Shinny's stream the 3rd.
Third, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Haley, you and I are going to be like up all day, all night, and cows don't, but steers do.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of balls. There are a lot of balls.
I feel like that's like a daily thing. You know, you never know what's going to happen.
As long as you don't gag on the words. Oh, man, that's not how I read that, but okay. We'd be talking and scrolling and showing each other things. And we'd probably end up drunk, and that would be the day.
Yeah. You know, that would be the day, wouldn't it? You're welcome. Anytime, though.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's the plan. But
Right.
you guys all have a great Christmas with your
Yes.
families, whatever you're doing. Just enjoy it. Make the best of it. I'm telling that to myself as well.
Same. Did you get that?
I heard you. Ugh,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah. You know.
maybe I'll just end up drunk. I won't.
Hopefully, I'll keep my fingers crossed for that one.
I will behave. I'll behave.
I'm gonna message Miss McPickle to record everything.
Well,
And
I'll
send it
only
to me.
see her Christmas Eve because she has to work Christmas Day.
No,
And-
that's totally fine. I mean, Christmas Eve is enough. you
Yeah.
know.
So we're doing Christmas with her and Brandon and Madison
It's
Christmas
awesome.
Eve. And then, after today, I'm not sure who's going to be at my house Christmas Day. So don't know. Whoever shows up, whatever. Well, kind of. Some people aren't allowed. That's that. And that's the way the
You
cookie
know?
crumbles.
Yeah. Sometimes it is.
Yep. So, and with that,
We may or may not see you all Monday.
nobody go say crazy shit on Baker Stream. Everyone do that.
No. Yeah. We're all gonna do come on now, let's go.
Like
That's just
everyone.
shenanigans.
Oh, Shinny, you want my address?
I'm ready for a road trip. What's the address?
I might need backup. Gabby, send me your Crocs. I might need it. You know,
I'm gonna hire a dog sledding team, but just show up with me wearing my Crocs, mushing a dog sled team in front of me, just wearing my Crocs the whole ride.
and I can't throw. I already told you guys I can't throw things anymore. So I will just literally try to throw it, and it'll probably go straight up in the air. So it won't work. But I don't know. If I get mad enough, I probably could throw it.
You could do it.
I think I could. I think it'd be all right. It'd be the croc herd around the world. Then I'd come back and tell you the story after I got released. And trust me, I know I will get released.
She's yeah, right. Hashtag cornside. Hashtag Malachi has my back.
I didn't say I couldn't catch. I said I couldn't throw.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't matter, Flash fan, if you can. It doesn't matter because she's part of the Malachi crew. That's all that matters.
He doesn't know that.
It doesn't matter if he knows it or not. We know it.
We are children of the corn. That's it. That's all. That's all I got.
That's it. All you need is your butter.
Butter.
Bada. Bada. Hashtag bada.
I won't make you. I won't make you say Keefy. Queefy. Keefy.
You remember that? Keefy. Queefy. I mean Keefy. Queefy D.
Best thing ever.
Bada.
Butter. All right. See you guys for reals. This time we're out. Have a good
Well, bada.
rest of your night. I am not the leader of the mob doesn't exist, or I might be.
It doesn't exist. There's no such thing.
That's it. All right. See you guys later.
Bada.
Hot mannequin love is kinda uncanny. Click, like, subscribe, ooh, piece of candy. Looking for my spotlight, chasing my vibe. Still looking for my credibility online. Ooh, hot mannequin love, candy on the floor, don't pick it up. Chasing all the clicks, chasing all the views. Credibility's hiding, but I'm bringing you the news. Every little scroll is a mystery, but you stuck around, watch the show with me. Laughs and chaos, that's how we roll. Drop a comment down below before you go. Every little scroll is a mystery, but you stuck around, watch the show with me. Laughs and chaos, that's how we roll. Drop a comment down below before you go.